Hey man, it's Kevin Smith.
Hey, this is Jay Music.
Hey, I'm Scott Snyder.
I'm Cena Grace.
And you're listening
to the Absolute Geek.
The Absolute Geek.
Absolute Geek.
Absolute Geek Podcast.
Check it out, Snoogans.
You all right for this?
Hi, we're the Darks. Hi guys, it's Friday night.
That was running through my head.
You're listening to
That was good. I like that one.
Absolute Geek Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast. My name is Matt.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Corbin.
Ooh, that's some energy right there, Corbin.
You all ready for this?
I'm Brian,
Corbin.
and I was here long enough for the intro, and I'll be back.
All right, Brian. Enjoy, Brian.
I love it.
Enjoy, Brian. Yeah, what's going on? Happy birthday, Kyle. Belated birthday.
That's why I'm excited. That's the energy right now.
Corbin's got his drink ready. Kyle's got his drink ready.
Rum and Coke.
I call him bullshit on that one, Corbin.
As you should. Hold the rum.
I'm calling that bullshit on that one, Corbin.
As you should. I will never drink live on the pod unless it's not my. I gotta maintain my integrity here. Plus,
Me too.
of course.
Oh man, what's going on, fellas? What's good? What's new? How's you guys surviving the crazy world we live in right now?
Oh my goodness, it's I can't even wrap my head around it. It's insane to me. Some of it I can't wrap my head around. Some of it just disgusts me, and some of it I just don't understand why it's even still going on today in 2020.
Right?
It's
a shame. It's really a shame. And
it makes my head shake.
We are still currently fighting issues that should have been solved long before any of us were born.
it's like Scooby-Doo resolving mysteries that have already been nailed. Like, what are you doing?
How many times you take that goddamn mask off?
We knew it was you to begin with.
No.
Why did you run
It was
around?
you all along, 2020.
You all ready for this?
And I would have done it again if it wasn't for you. Like, you did do it again. Like, calm down.
Right. Over and over and over.
Exactly.
Damn you, 2020. Damn you.
Can you
I don't
just
know.
go over 2020 and let me out? I'm going to walk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll walk the rest of the way.
Yeah, I'm cool. The first half of 2020 has been enough.
Let's hope the back half totally redeems the first half, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with all that.
Best meme year ever.
It is. It has been, yes.
Yeah, for reals.
When, you went from Corona to murder hornets to looting and rioting.
Oh.
Yeah. Crazy. I mean, if there's there's not any good thing to come out of this, but I've really enjoyed the Pepsi spoofs off of the Kendall Jenner commercial.
The fact that people are actually doing it kills me.
I know. There was one I saw, and he went up. I saw the picture, and there was one. He's like, "Won't you take it?" And the cop's like, "Put it down." He's like, "Oh, it worked for Kendall," and I just lost my mind.
The fact that people actually are trying it is what's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything to take away from this, I choose to take that as something to laugh at. But yeah, that it's been, also 2020, the year I got a background. Hey, yo.
Yeah, it's better than just 4 little pieces of sad.
Listen,
sad
I don't have the array of magical art pieces that Kyle does. I don't have the background of your room that you do.
I know.
Matt.
I need to get a better background.
Do with what I have, and I have posters. I'm playing, but I'm working on sounding too. It's gonna be legit.
I just need to get green screen so I can green screen myself somewhere badass every week.
You know what actually happened in July?
What?
Aliens land.
Oh my gosh.
What's going on?
Crisis on Infinite Earths, but real time. That'd be don't even speak. I'm knocking on wood. I'm knocking on.
Yes.
I'm not on
Yes,
now.
Solo Wookie. Now massive asteroids are flying near the Earth and hurricanes, which
I
Kyle's
nominate
calling
my-
is finally coming.
Yes, I nominate myself to get on and be a driller. I will help drill 800 feet and drop an atomic bomb.
You know, this is a callback to an old, long ago episode where I believe there's a Photoshop out there of you and Liv Tyler. So you're already halfway there, you know, with Steven Tyler serenading you on the beach.
Oh, halfway. My
I
voice.
think Awesome Andy is the one who made that one for us.
Yes, he is. But yeah, so I mean, to go along with all the craziness of everything that's going on,
Yep.
YouTube personality Jake Paul decides to come to Arizona and help loot the Scottsdale Fashion Square Mall. He says he didn't loot anything. He was just sitting there documenting. And people have got him all on video. He's all over social media there.
Literally everyone else begs to differ.
Yeah, he was just said I wasn't doing anything. I was just there documenting with my crew the massive amounts of injustice that's going on in the world, in Arizona in particular. And
I happen to be at a mall that's being looted.
Right.
I'm not at the protest that's going on downtown, miles and miles and miles away from Scottsdale Fashion Square. No, I am at the mall that's going to be looted.
So he's being, the state filed charges against him, criminal trespassing and unlawful assembly, both which are misdemeanor charges. But yeah, he hasn't really responded to the charges yet, but yeah.
He said something about like, oh, just give them to me and let's move on, move forward for the movement. Like something.
No, not move forward for the movement. Fuck you. Fuck you. Why were you in our state in the first place? You're in California. There's more interesting shit going on in LA with the riots and stuff there than there is here. Why are you coming here? And all the places, why are you looting a mall? You're a millionaire. Why are you looting this mall? I wasn't looting. Dude, you were inside the mall after hours when it was closed. Doesn't matter if you were losing or not. You were still part of it.
They were actually closed early because they had a tip that it was gonna happen, so they shut everything down.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was down there right before it happened.
He was trying to speak for those who have no voice, and he just got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Can't we just accept that?
No,
I was trying to speak for those people in the Coach store too.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
You know, nothing speaks to help people out like stealing shit from Louis Vuitton.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Doesn't that scream that he's one of the people?
I'm standing up.
And go, they're just like us.
I'm standing up for your social injustices, but check out these free ear pods I've got. You know, getting out of there. Come on, man.
I have this really nice Louis Vuitton wallet now.
Keep that shit. Keep him out of our state, man. He can go be a fuckhead.
Fuck out of here. Stay the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he can go be a fuckhead in California. We don't need him being a fuckhead here. We've got enough of those.
I was about to say we got too many.
Yeah, fuck all that.
You know what's weird too? Because I was down there about an hour before all that started, and I was like, "Fuck, it's fucking packed down here." I wonder why it's so packed down here. Because like where I work, it's like 2 blocks from Fashion Square.
Mm-hmm.
And I was down there doing something for work, and it was getting to be late, and I was like everywhere. Why the fuck are there so many people down here? What is going on? And I fucking tootled through Fashion Square, and I saw all these people kind of grouped up, and I was like, but I just thought it was like it's downtown Scottsdale. It's the mall.
This happens.
There's a bunch of bars a block away. You know what I mean? There was, I just took it as it was time to party. It was time to party.
Yeah, and I guess
it was with their new Louis Vuitton and Coach shit.
And I guess someone got him on camera. Somebody handed him a stolen vodka bottle, and Grizzle Geek just said he was pointing out the injustices of high vodka prices at P.F. Chang's,
as any logical person would do.
At some point you're rich. Like, I understand, but your being there and your presence and your actions have taken away from what people are trying to do in this movement, and you're focusing. And the focus is on you now, because now you're part. Your name alone is part of this because you were caught looting. You don't see any of these other celebrities that are protesting
away from the good and the what needs to be focused on. You're taking away from that by directing it on something negative and by destruction of property. Like,
that's ultimately just damaging and counterproductive to anything.
It's like 2 steps back.
Yeah.
Hey, we're taking this step forward to do this, and you're right. I did orchestrate it. My bad, guys.
But not only that, you're part of the problem in a state you don't even fucking live in. You're part of the problem. You are one of the reasons why we are in lockdown or curfew at 8 o'clock every night this weekend. Poor Kyle can't go out and drink at the bar on his birthday. Not just COVID-19, let alone, but you and everyone else that looted are the reason we're on a curfew now.
I should be going out tomorrow night and singing karaoke for the first time.
Right?
That was my promise. I was singing karaoke on my birthday.
Live your best life. We were going to do it together. We talked about this. Well, we never did, but we talked about some of it.
The plan, I was telling Matt, we were talking about the other day. That's what I was going to do. I was having an open invite to go to the bar to sing, so we can hang out and everybody can come hang out with us and sing karaoke. And
I mean, if you want to do your stupid bullshit for your YouTube videos, that's fine. Don't do it here. Don't do it in Arizona. Get out of here.
Somewhere else.
Yeah, do it in California where you live.
Or take it to New York if you want to really go
You
crazy.
and your brother is Logan's kind of redeemed himself, but Jake, you and him both are just known for stupid shit, doing dumb shit.
Where he should have gone was Minnesota and protests.
Yeah, exactly.
And viewed his viewpoint and helped get this message across of not looting, but a message across if that's what he was really doing. That's where he should have done it.
Yeah,
compare notes to all of your adolescent children fans about the injustices that they're facing growing up and the movement that's going on. But instead, you want to come to Scottsdale, but I mean Snobsdale, as we all call it, or Snotsdale, whatever you want to call it, and you want to loot the mall. And I don't care if you were looting or not; that's fine. But you were in the mall after hours, after people had just broken into it. You're just as guilty, regardless if you took anything, as everyone else that's in there. That's still trespassing, and I don't think there should be a
documenting. Just documenting.
I don't think there should be pay the fine and move on. This needs to be like they need to make an example out of him and be like, look, give him the maximum. It's not that big of a sentence because it's only misdemeanors, but give him the maximum you can. Make an example out of him to stop this from ever happening again.
But the only problem is that all they are going to do is just what you said.
Yeah, it's going to
slap on the wrist.
Yeah, it's gonna disappear. But I guess it depends on how much of an issue people make out of it and what other footage comes out eventually of what he was actually doing there. You know, who knows?
Dude, he knew something. It was broadcasted out that was what was going to happen.
Yeah,
and so he
took it on himself.
Yep. To join in on the rioting festivities.
Mm-hmm.
That you said exactly probably how they look at it and capitalize on everything going on for a little bit of fun and a couple of views.
And that was his excuses. I wanted to document the travesties and injustices that were going on in Arizona.
That's what makes it worse, though, that you would even pretend to care about what's going on. Like, if you're going to mess around and have tomfoolery, whatever. Ignorance is bliss. Do what you got to do there. I mean, I don't support it, but I'm saying, like, okay, fine, that happened. But to then go and try to go, oh, no, we were in for a just and worthy cause. Dude, there's cameras. We saw what you were doing.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
It's like Kyle said, go down to Phoenix. March in Phoenix. Go to where the front lines of everything that's going on in Phoenix. Why are you going to do that in Scottsdale? What are you proving and what are you showing in Scottsdale? Those people that were in Scottsdale were there for one particular reason.
Nobody there was protesting. Exactly. Nobody.
And then it started with, oh, well, we're going to, we got put on this curfew. And then they're like, oh, well, Westgate is going to be next. So they had the cops locked down Westgate, SWAT teams at Westgate. The Walmart is closing at 5 o'clock and boarding up their doors. Walmart by me closed at 5 and they're pushing in pallets of topsoil in front of the doors so people can't get to the doors and stuff. So it just caused a whole bunch of mass hysteria in our area for all of that looting. And it's a damn shame. I don't know.
And it just goes to show there's always bad seeds in no matter what groups, no matter how good something is, there's always a bad seed or two in it.
True that.
That's just the way and it sucks. Same thing as with the cops. There's a lot of good cops, but there's enough bad seeds in there that it ruins it for everybody. And it's just like with the looting and the rioting. There's such a good message being brought, but there's such a small percentage that are ruining it for everybody because they're not focusing on the message anymore. They're focusing on what's going to make people watch TV and watch the 10 o'clock news.
Yeah.
And a peaceful protest is not what people want to see, and that's what sucks.
But I mean, I have to applaud the protesters here because the last 3 nights they've been peaceful. They've done peaceful protests, and they've left when the curfew hits. So
my buddy I work with, you see the one where the cops kneeled?
Mm-hmm.
My buddy was one of the people that were standing there talking to the cops about kneeling. He was like, and I was talking to him about it the next day because he sent me the video. He's like, look at this. Before it was on the news or anything, he sent me this video, and he's like, look at this, dude. We got the cops to kneel and to understand with what we're talking about. He's like, this is great. And I was like, what? He sent it to me, and he's like, look at this. They, you know what I mean? He just said, he's like, I was so frustrated at what I was watching. I had to go down there, and I had to be like, this is crazy. And, he was sitting there with these guys and the cops, and he's like, if you just see it from our perspective, he's like, and he was talking to him. He was like, if it stays peaceful, he's like, and they were talking to him. They're like, if you just kneel, everything will be all right. We'll go home. Everything's cool. You just need to see it from our side. And like, they went back and forth a little bit. And then that's when the cops kneeled. He sent me this video of them having that discussion, which was really fucking cool.
Yeah. But then you got cops
big shout out to him.
You got cops kneeling one day in cities, and then the next
Beating
day
up
in the
on
same
women.
spot shooting tear gas at them the next day, and they had the video of the cop kneeling one day, and the next day he's pushing down a 70-year-old man and cracking his head open. But I mean, somebody said in the chat it has given out great memes, and we have, like Hawkeye. Have you guys seen Hawkeye yet?
Yeah.
You haven't seen Hawkeye yet, Kyle? So there's a dude who gets beat up by a bunch of protesters, and the news interviews him, and he was like, I was screaming out all lives matter, and they just surrounded me and started beating me. And then a video comes out, the dude gets out of his car with a bow and arrow, and he's aiming a bow and arrow at protesters and like waving a machete around, so they all gang up on him and beat him up, and then they flipped his car and burnt his car. But the internet has dubbed him Hawkeye because
That's
he's sitting there waving a bow and arrow around.
I don't think
I love that one.
this is me, and this is my own perspective, but I don't think anybody should be protesting right now. All lives matter. We should be concentrating on Black Lives Matter. That's what we need to be, because if you look at percentages, you can look and say, yes, there was more white people that were killed by cops, but percentage-wise of the amount of people there are of race, it's lower. So no, we're not concentrating on all lives matter right now. That's just what I think. That's just my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I don't know. I come from a place I talk about a lot on social media and everything, but in general, I want it now for the dialogue starts that you can have those uncomfortable conversations. Obviously, the extra negative feedback and everything that's going on this crazy just year has just impacted a lot in general. But just having those conversations, having that mindset, I think is important to just understand. You know what I mean? I don't want to harp myself too much on it personally because you guys have said it much more eloquently than me, but in general, just like understand the reality of the situation and then what we can do to get better and actively just trying to get better.
Yeah. I couldn't even imagine saying, I don't like your skin color, so I don't like you. How many people do you miss out on in this world that could make your life so much better? And just because you don't, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me.
It's so weird.
And you know what? It just might be a different thinking, but I'm not going to like anybody. I don't even know you. How can you dislike somebody that you don't even know or will never meet? How can you do that?
I don't know.
It's insane. I mean, to tell me I'm stupid, but that just doesn't make sense. You meet somebody, and then you figure out, oh, that guy fucking sucks.
There's so many more reasons to dislike somebody rather than the color of their skin. You know,
just because they're stupid. Oh, that guy's an idiot. I just know to stay away from that guy. But just to go, I don't know him. I've never seen him before in my life, but since his skin color, I don't like him. That's fucking stupid. That's a stupid mindset to have. I couldn't even imagine having that mindset.
It's a lot, man. But people.
Michael Stout. If your neighbor's house is on fire, you don't scream out all houses matter because they aren't putting water on your house also.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Oh man.
I don't know. Like I hate Jake Paul now because I feel like he's an opportunistic fuck. He saw an opportunity to get out there and use this for his advantage to get his YouTube clicks. And I don't care if you're a millionaire or not. You're an opportunistic fuck. You came to Arizona when you don't live here. You came to Scottsdale. You looted the fucking store. Yeah, go back to California. You came here. You looted our stores. And then you think that, oh, well, let's just move on. No, fuck you. Fuck you, you opportunistic fuck. And your fucking channel. I don't care how many subscribers you have compared to us. Fuck you, you opportunistic fuck. That's all I'm going to say. That's the last I'm saying on it because it pisses me off that, you know, he's there front and center with his cameras. People are catching him and asking him why he's there. And then he just wants to be like, oh, I wasn't looting. I was just documenting the front lines of this travesty. Like Kyle said, to read it again. Fuck you.
And eyes on the ground.
Yeah, if you want to be documenting a travesty, go downtown where they're shooting tear gas and rubber bullets. Don't be looting a fucking mall in Scottsdale with all the other rich people that are out there. Fuck you, you opportunistic fuck. And just don't fucking if you want to come back here to do something good,
this is downtown right now.
That's dope.
It's crazy.
If you want to come down here for something good, that's fine. But if you're gonna come here just to loot and be an opportunistic fuck for video clicks, fuck you. We got enough people here that want to do that. Fuck you.
So that's in front of my wife's work.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Just FYI.
Wow. That's crazy. I'm glad they're back though.
I'm glad there's so many people that want to get this good message across that, this is not what we want in 2020 or 2019, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 12, I mean, forever. And then 21, 22, 23, I mean, back and forth.
Nope. We're just some chill and talk comics, man. We'll not have to go past stuff that we thought was elementary. But apparently isn't. I just want all of us to come together. Color, creed, religious or, sexual orientation, educational background. Can't we all just sit together, hold hands, and watch an episode of Batwoman? Can we just do that?
No, we can't.
Whoa. Especially since the main part of the show is being replaced. The whole character. You know what? We're not going to replace the actress. We're going to replace the whole goddamn character.
So Matt this is actually first props to me. That was a great segue. But second of all, Matt had a pretty good explanation about this, which I'm honored to have Matt in my corner at least once, because usually he agrees with Kyle 110%. But I was so down on this. I was listening to Grizzle Geek and they were discussing it, and I couldn't even argue. I was like, yeah, the show's screwed. Like, damn. And Matt gave a really good point before we got on live, where most of our greatest conversations happen. I'm just kidding. Anyway, Matt,
it's true. That's where our genius truly shines, is before we hit record, before we hit go live. That's where our genius truly shines.
But share what you think is going to be interesting about Batwoman, since I want to talk about a positive before we get slammed everywhere.
Well, I was saying, so Batwoman, Corbin was like, "Oh, well, I'm all upset that Batwoman they're replacing the character and Ruby Rose is leaving and yada yada yada." And I'm like, dude, it's a genius idea. So, knowing from The Walking Dead, Kyle, what's the number one character in The Walking Dead that people are constantly screaming about wanting in the comic book?
Daryl.
Exactly. So you're making a brand new character for this woman. So you're going to bring in a brand new person named Ryan Wilder to take over the mantle of Batwoman. Those comics are going to sell like hotcakes when she makes her appearance in the comic, because she's probably going to. If she becomes a popular character and returns around this show and the ratings go up for it, she's going to be a huge thing and probably be in the comics. So you're piggybacking off of that popularity when they bring her to the comics, and it's just going to sell like gangbusters. So I think that's why it's a smart idea to cast
Talking in the background.
to replace. Corbin's watching something else.
No, I have
You
another.
son of a
video
bitch,
playing.
Corbin.
I'm not watching something else. I have another live from the CBSI playing. Give me a second.
You
I'm
son of a
You
bitch.
watch the Hot 10?
Listen, you don't go watch the
No,
Hot 10, all right?
I'm not watching the Hot 10. I
Be
was
here
saving it
now,
to my-
I'm gonna
Corbin.
do the Hot 10 in 20 minutes with
I
Brian.
was saving it to my watch later. I just couldn't figure out why my computer
Why?
was
When you can
stalled.
watch it in 10 minutes when Brian comes back and does it himself.
I like to support my friends. I want to support Brian too.
Support the
Just-
show you're on, you son of a
I
bitch.
was trying to save it to my watch later. I didn't know.
I thought I heard a wild McClay in the background who's
I
not
know.
here
I was
watching.
like, what is
Well,
that?
I never even pressed the volume, so I had another YouTube who was muted. I went to click watch later, and then the volume popped up. I'm sitting there going, okay, this is fine. I'll be quick. But no, I wasn't. So let's continue.
So go ahead and give us your spiel about how heartbroken you are that Ruby Rose has left Batwoman and how it's such a great show that nobody's watching. So great that Kyle just left because he was like, fuck this.
Listen, I understand. The Batwoman show did a lot of SJW topics, a lot more on pleading on social justice, which I don't mind in moments, or maybe an episode or two. But I think when you're doing it to the point that it overtakes the story, you have yourself an issue, and that's exactly what's happening there. I thought Ruby Rose was fine. At first, I thought her acting was stiff, just for the role, but I thought she came on and really became the character as we kind of came into it. It just really, unfortunately, didn't give us a whole lot to work with. There were some interesting characters here and there that you could kind of get your attention to, but the overall theme, and you could kind of tell with CW shows and the DC as a whole, I feel like I say this every other episode we talk about Batwoman, it just goes a certain direction, and it detracts from everything. But there've been people who already hated it from the trailer that didn't give it a shot, and so I just said to give it a shot. But now, and this was the one thing, this was rumored to have happened when Ruby Rose first basically said she was no longer going to do the show, that they would recast and go in an entirely different direction. And I remember thinking to myself, why the hell would you do that? Like, don't do that. Just continue, recast, make a backstory, something, because you already don't have forward momentum right now. The last thing you want to do is lose more people. So yeah, you might get a brief spike, and that's maybe what they were thinking, because people go, oh wow, a new Batwoman, that's weird, taboo, unheard of, let's try to follow that along. And they might tune in for a second, but if you don't change the storyline and the way that you tell your stories already, and you're going to go in a completely different direction with nothing comic book related in this new Batwoman character, but still try to go and tap into Batman's rogues gallery, you have yourself a walking, talking dumpster fire. And right now, it's rough. I'm not going to say it's not a good show. No, it's not a good show. It's not even a decent show, but I wouldn't say it's trash. It's just a bad show, but it can get better. But with these decisions, I wouldn't even do this if I was an established show. If Arrow decided that, season 5, we're going to drop Arrow and we're going to follow, I don't know, what's his face? Speedy or just some other random character. You know what I mean? Like, that would be big for me. Arrow was a lot more established and had a lot more loyal fans by season 5 or after season 1 than Batwoman had even by the midway of the first season. So I just think it's a bold choice by a team and a show that doesn't quite have that equity to make those decisions yet. Like, you haven't earned it yet. You haven't gotten to that point where you go, we're going to go something bold and our fans are going to follow us regardless. Like, no, stick to the script. Try to focus on making sure you can fine-tune that and make it something that you can, I can be proud of sharing. Oh my gosh. Make it something I can be proud of saying, hey guys, I talk to people about Batwoman like I'm selling drugs. Like, hey, I heard this new show on the street, Batwoman. Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm. Hey, it's not horrible. It's not horrible. Like, that's how I be talking about it. I want to be proud.
I don't know. I think you're getting outvoted in the comments there.
I knew it was gonna happen.
All I'm seeing in the chat is trash, 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 trash.
I'm gonna tune back in, but I don't want my feed from. I'm gonna check the
Patrick
comments.
went even as far to include a trash emoji.
Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, Tim. Listen, Michael, I understand what you guys are saying. I'm not gonna. The track record speaks for itself right now. It is trash. I was just hopeful that they could change that. But now I'm losing hope, not only on Batwoman, and you guys can testify that I've been one of the last to the death fans of this. One of the last.
Testify.
Exactly.
Testify.
Not only am I losing hope in that, but I'm
Testify,
really
my brother.
testify, my brother. You gotta have it. Preach. Anyway, no. I'm just losing hope in that, and losing hope in the CW DC partnership as a whole, outside of Stargirl, which I consider more of a DC universe property than anything CW, is just a lot of, I don't know, I don't want to tread on toes and make it seem like it's wrong to, every show is about propaganda at some point. Every show is trying to spread a message at some point. And I don't want the CW's message to be looked at in a negative light, but your social justice messaging, your programming, it cannot be the program. It has to be a part of it. I didn't come to watch.
Do you feel like the problem is that she's a character that's pretty codependent on Batman existing, and they're trying to have her exist in a world where Batman is no longer Batman?
I kind of feel that way, but I look at it not like I would look at a comic with like a limited series that's just focused on Batwoman, or if it was a Nightwing thing. Like a lot of them are like branches off of the larger superhero tree. It just is what it is. I understand that. I think if you did more hands-off version of Batman, or you referenced him, you don't have to do like Birds of Prey did in the early 2000s, where Batman left Gotham. Oh, I guess they're doing the same thing now, where he just mysteriously left Gotham for reasons unknown to any that will probably never be resolved. Like, it's how you dispatch him. They could have had him on another mission, and this had been set in a very truncated set of time. In a couple weeks, where Batwoman is on her own in Gotham, Bruce Wayne's out of commission, and she has to fight this one villain. And you stretch it out, in a very compact amount of time, like Marvel did with the Punisher and Daredevil and the Defenders, where everything was really in a stretch of weeks and months. If you looked at the timeline to see where everything happened, you don't have to make this
backstory that Batman was all fucked up when he went to go try to find Damian, and on his quest to find Damian, he got all fucked, like in the comics.
There you go. Exactly.
Got all fucked up.
Yeah, but they want to take, and that's what CW does. They want to take these comic heroes and then completely abandon most of the backstory, fill that in with different messages and social justice pieces, and then cobble that together to some semblance of a story by saying, oh, we threw in Deathstroke, and oh, we threw in Hush, and oh, check this out.
Which Hush looks shitty, by the way. I love Corbin's freeze.
He does. And I didn't like Deathstroke either. But the point being, for Arrow,
why? What would they do wrong?
I froze?
I didn't see Hush.
His bandages and his face looks all.
It just looks cartoonish.
Right. Yeah.
It kind of looks cartoonish. But my thing is, you can't base it off the story. If there was something where they were going to tap into this rich background, you're educating new fans, you're keeping the love from those who follow these stories and give us some reason to watch, then it's something. I just don't think that they have the equity for it. Yeah, show it, please. No name actors, follow the comic crazy idea. Exactly, Girls Will Geek, the eventual comic.
There you go, Kyle.
You said it.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's more more like a mask that he puts over his head than bandages. It
kind of looks like strips of bath towels, if you ask me.
When they could have taken they have a character that wears bandages over his face in Doom Patrol. They could have went that route to make it look a little bit better too.
Exactly. Yeah. But my thing is this: I didn't even like the character to begin with, and Hush to me was a controversial. No, it wasn't. It was a stupid choice because the very existence of Hush is like using the Joker. It is paramount. It is central to the Batman mythos, whether it's a mirror image or arch nemesis or whatever. Those two are two sides of the same coin, or they're tied with each other. I do not see the relation between Hush and Batwoman, and the Batwoman TV show did not help me to see the relation between those two characters. It's like you're going to have, I can see the Joker, if you're going to spin a story, the Joker comes into town looking for Batman and finds Batwoman. That's fine.
That should have been another, what they should have done with Hush is built everything around it, so when they finally did the Hush, it should have been like a crossover series because, Hush involved everybody. It was one of those events where everybody was involved one way or another, and that's how they should have played that.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, you can't lobby a right for these companies, Kyle. Well, just the CW, really.
At least push them in the right direction.
Just a nudge. I would just literally push them toward a stack of comics and be like, "Hey, read these."
Just nonchalantly slide them across the table.
Read some more. Exactly. Caroline Drive.
Trade paperback.
Just read a couple and then read a couple more. And if you are reading them, use what you're reading. It's not a horrible idea to do that.
Grizzle Geek said paper mache mask. I agree. 100%.
I totally agree. It's like you took your son's paper mache globe, you hollowed it out, and you put it on your head. And then the kid started crying. You went, hush. And there you go. There's your character intro. I just did it for you.
But Tim was right. The CW shows have shit to bed. I watched Flash and Arrow and all those shows religiously week after week after week, and I haven't watched any of them since the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. After that event was over, I haven't watched it.
You just watched it just go, like, it was awesome. Like, I couldn't wait to watch Arrow. I couldn't wait to watch Flash. We did so many podcasts about breaking down Flash, talking about Arrow, and then all of a sudden it just, like, it plateaued and it flattened, and then it just, like,
yeah,
and you were just like, the interest somehow just left. You were just like, I don't know if it became like rinse and repeat, like, but they were on fire. I don't know if they got new writers. I don't know if if CW was like, okay, you can only do A plus B and equals C. That's all you can do.
Well, they said they gave them a list of, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Kyle. They said they gave them a list of characters that they could and could not use. So I guess that's kind of how they start that. But even then, you just named a brilliant idea on just how to explain the absence of Bruce Wayne, what we both did, and continue on with the story. So it's not like you said, you have a cast of characters you can use, and that'd be something we should try. Like you say, hey, we get 5 characters, you got 5 minutes to write a story about these characters. Boom.
Well, I think Gotham is a good representation of why some of those characters shouldn't be used, because in the wrong hands, it doesn't work out well.
Oh, like the last season where it was basically a villain showcase, even when it didn't make it.
Not just that, but you had like 2 different versions of the Joker. And
yeah.
You liked the last season of Gotham?
I didn't say I liked the last season of Gotham. I said I liked the Rise of the Villain season of Gotham.
Oh, your mic. I didn't get that part. Okay. Yeah.
Remember they did Rise of the Villains and then they did Rise of the Heroes.
Then it just became all about the villains. Yeah, you're right.
But when they were doing it, and it was, when Gotham started, it was fucking cool. It was off, and there was so many holes. It was like Swiss cheese. But if you looked actually past all that, it actually wasn't a bad show. And then it was the same thing. You could tell they were just like, how do we keep this going? How do we keep this going? And it just didn't work.
I agree. I think it almost didn't work the way. Do you guys remember the Gotham Central in the comics? Do you remember the Gotham Central comic book series? No. Basically, it was focusing on like Detective Montoya and the other detectives and police officers of the GCPD in a world with Gotham and Batman and all these other villains, and how are they doing? So it was a lot more focused, more like a crime kind of based book. There was a few good issues. It started off pretty strong. I think Ed Brubaker did some work on it. But the point being, I feel like Gotham fell in the same trap where you're setting a world without Batman. But if you don't do it right, or the characters are not interesting or compelling enough to keep your interest, then it sucks, because then it's like a Batman adjacent story without the main cast. Like me making, I don't know, beef stroganoff, but where's the beef? Like you're missing the main component that makes it work. And with Gotham, I feel like it started off good, and it, like you said, right up through the Rise of the Villains and then the Heroes, where it just hung around too long.
Yeah.
After I was okay, I don't believe that you can have this without Batman. And then, you had teenage Bruce running around with the long overcoat. That it just became Smallville-esque, and it was just like blah,
Because it kind of started out as the rise of Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like it kind of got rocky, and then it just, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, Tim's just said the CW by Gaslight. I would be. Oh, guys, I just watched that again, by the way, last night, just before I went to bed. The Gotham by Gaslight animated movie. Such a slept on movie. If they took that, you're right, Tim. That's a great idea. If you took that, make that your next crossover. Just send the heroes back in time. Arrow's dead. Or gone.
Now they're just making a one-shot crossover.
Boom! You're right. And they go back to Jack the Ripper. And then all of a sudden he comes. That's a brilliant idea. CW by Gaslight. Done. Thank you. Whoa! Let's go.
Not that hard, CW.
Nope. Not at all. Just pulling him on my ass here. Come on.
Corbin, look, I appreciate you standing up for your beliefs in Gotham by Gaslight, but there's some times where you go too far, and I think this is one of those times, because nobody wants to watch CW by Gaslight. All right.
Are you serious?
And the Gotham by Gaslight DC movie is absolute garbage. Let's not.
Whoa! Watch that is not true.
It's terrible.
That is
Come
not
on, dude.
true. Are you kidding me?
I'd rather read the comic versus watch the animated series. Come
first
on.
Off, you say that
DC
like
has fallen off so hard on their animated movies lately. Come on.
That was one of their. That was not even 2 years ago.
No, dude, it's terrible. It's right up there with Batman Harley Quinn.
That was terrible.
It's
That
right up
was
there with
trash.
both of those.
Not
Come
that
on.
my Gaslight had a surprise twist. It built in some characters. You had Catwoman in there, Poison Ivy. You had Robin, Jason Todd, Dick Grayson. It took characters that exist in modern Batman mythos and remade them in believable ways in a different time period that you can get behind and be in the world of. Are you not?
Speaking of Batman and trash, moving on here.
Wow.
Suicide Squad director David Ayers says that his Joker was in fact comic book accurate.
Wait, what?
This whole bring back the Snyder Cut, hashtag Snyder Cut, hashtag release the Snyder Cut. No, it goes hand in hand because then you have people saying release the Ayers cut of Suicide Squad, release the Ayers cut, release the Ayers cut, and then
I wouldn't mind seeing the original movie Suicide Squad before they mashed the other half of that shitty movie into it.
But
it started out. You got to admit, Suicide Squad started out
promising.
Yes, the first half of the movie was enjoyable, but
then what happened, Matt? The Ayers cut got taken out, and we got trash. And now we're gonna take one good piece of the pie and the other good piece of the pie, and we're gonna put together for a magical pie delight. Okay?
I don't know what Joker comic book he was reading.
I don't know either. The same
well,
one.
Here's a breakdown. I'll share a breakdown of how he says it's comic book accurate. So there's different pages from different comics. Versions of the Joker that they're taking and breaking it down to where he's saying it's comic book accurate.
Oh, by the pictures then? But now by the before.
Okay, I can see faces, but not character itself.
I agree.
I can smile the same as Matt.
There's no...
Yeah. And then put it together and be like, hey, we're the same people.
And none of the so you took pictures and you compared them against classic comic book images. That's fine, but nowhere does he have damage written across his head. No,
that's probably a lamer response and explanation for his actions than Jake Paul's.
Well, yeah, I agree. It probably is 100%. I agree with you, Corbin. It probably
Thank
is.
You. That's pretty lame.
Here's another one. Let me share this one with you too. Comic accurate. Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. The suit Joker versus Jared Leto's version. Grant Morrison's Batman R.I.P. The skitty Joker, fit Joker versus Jared Leto, where he's about to shark Harley Quinn. Alex's Ross Batman Harley Quinn. Joker in the tuxedo. Yeah. Greg Capullo's Batman Endgame, where he's got the undercut and half of his face is burnt off.
Dude,
so what he did,
straws.
Yeah, what he did is he took these pictures and he goes, all right, Jared, you're going to put this one on for this scene. Check. Okay, well, I like this one. Jared, you're going to take off your shirt for this one? Okay, check. All right, Jared, we need you in a tux this time. Okay, check. And one more. Boom. Okay. Ooh, don't you look just like the comics? Man, I did this just like the comics. And there we go. That's what he did. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
I mean, I get what he's coming from. They made it look like I get it, but
you're trying to get what he's saying.
He's what he's doing. He's like, technically I follow the comics. Mm-hmm. Technically you followed you followed a page.
Just about.
You know what I mean? But no.
Technically, all you did was recreate classic images from different books and put them in your movie and be like, "Oh, comic book accurate."
I mean,
Joker.
If that's the case, CW's doing that with Batwoman. I mean, it's ridiculous that you could say that and think. I don't know.
We got a big old happy birthday in the chat to Kyle from Cedric, Washington. Happy belated birthday, Kyle. Take a shot for him, Kyle. We should have Kyle taking shots every time somebody wishes him happy birthday. He takes a shot. But yeah, that
I know what you fuckers will do.
That comic book accurate thing is as bigger reach as Jake Paul saying that he's protesting injustices in Phoenix and Scottsdale. It's
pretty damn lame.
Yeah, no, fuck that. It's not comic book accurate. I would like to see.
Like
I will give you
character from a story arc.
Right. I will give you that. I would like to see an Ayers cut just so that way you can definitively put to bed this whole Jared Leto bullshit of I did a great Joker and all my shit got cut. I'd like to see it. I want to see it.
Hey, but that's why we need the Ayers cut. And after that, let's just stop with the cuts, because after that, you can probably make a good movie and just continue with that and just stand on its own merit.
Should have made a good movie the first time. That's all I'm
Well,
saying.
all I'm saying is sometimes studios can get in the way of that, as we've seen by DC and Warner Brothers countless times. Hence the Snyder cut and the Ayers cut. But what I'm trying to say is, moving on in the future, you put your best movie out forward, and the studios take a step back, and you let that stand for what it is.
Michael Stout says I can stick a red cape on a stack of dog shit, doesn't? But it ain't Superman.
Michael, I love that.
We got two more happy birthdays in the chat for Kyle. That's 2 more shots, Kyle.
Oh, thank you.
I know what you fucking do. We're not.
That is a Superman. But since it's dark, I guess I'll be still.
Out my birthday.
You're not matting out for your
You're not
birthday.
gonna be matting out. Oh, we want some of that, Kyle. Come on.
The fans are here for it, Kyle. They're here to see it.
We don't have
Yeah.
fans. We have friends. And
All I'm saying is, if you just take the
I agree with
Spider-Man,
you.
100%. I'm just so fucking tired of Sony, and what they're doing with Spider-Man is just outrageous.
You can't have the Rogue Gallery with just movies without Spider-Man. Put Miles in. That's different story. Hold on.
Kyle does it better.
Judge Rogue, you can't do it.
All right. So sticking with Batman, news is coming out that Warner Brothers is interested in pursuing, after the success of Joker, a standalone Bane movie. Yay or nay for a standalone Bane movie?
No. Without Batman, are we trying to refuse?
I want it. I want to see skinny luchador Bane in his luchador career, where he
I
takes
don't want a
where he-
movie with just the Rogues Gallery of
where he
Batman.
takes some kind of like wicked header after doing like a swanton off a top rope or some frog splash or 450 splash, and he just breaks his back, and then he uses the venom to heal himself, and he just walks around with this luchador mask on now. Time to get to the goddamn meat and potatoes. That's right.
Hard pass. No, thank you.
Tim says, "Come on, Kyle. We need early. I'm hammered, boys." Text.
No, you're not gonna get the "I'm wasted, boys" late night.
I'm fucking hammered, boys.
Oh, that was the classic night.
So that's a no on the Bane, huh?
That's a hell no.
I think so. I don't want to see Batman's Rogue Gallery without Batman. What the fuck is that? That's nothing. How could they even do that?
Yeah, that's just not something that's going to happen in my book. No. I'm sorry. I mean, listen, I'm all for content, I guess, comic related. I know we're all starving for it. Fine. Like, it's a thing. But no.
I'm okay with that in this time versus the Sony stuff. Look, you can't Venom without Spider-Man doesn't work. We all saw that.
Mute.
No.
And yeah, mute him. 'Cause
Venom
I don't
without
try-
Spider-Man.
How do you compare? No. You're going to stop right now.
Just listen.
Matt, no. Matt, no. Matt, no.
Mute.
Venom without Spider-Man.
Oh, hell no. You got to mute me. I didn't do anything wrong.
Venom without Spider-Man.
Without
Okay, I'm not even. I've said this enough. I'm not going into that. But
Yes.
there is enough.
No, Matt. But here, I'm gonna help you right now. Take the same excuse you're about to say about Venom without Spider-Man. Take out Venom, put in Bane. Take out Spider-Man, put in Batman. End of story. Okay.
No, I'm saying that there is enough there with Joker and Bane to make interesting standalone stories. I think Kraven could be an interesting standalone story, but what Sony's choosing of Jackpot.
More than 11. Kraven versus Elephant.
Okay. I'm done.
I mean, honestly, I'm gonna give you a shot, man, because I'm not sure how these standalone stories can. How? What's one compelling Bane storyline that you can think of right now that doesn't have Batman in any significant form or fashion? Any?
What do you know about his backstory?
Breaking out of jail, coming across the Venom, Batman, rest of it's Batman, and none of it beforehand sounds.
You don't know what he was doing before he was in jail.
Nor do I care.
I want to see a movie about his luchador career.
That's stupid. It's already made. It's got Jack Black in it.
No, it's not Nacho Libre. I want it to be like more like The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. And then at the end, he just
I do not want to see.
At the end, he like breaks his back, and then he shoots up with the venom, and it ends with he's all massive heading into Gotham. That's how. That's a Bane movie.
You'd be so pissed. You need a goddamn Bane movie about him being a luchador wrestler.
I'm so on for that.
No,
I think
Lucha.
only the Joker to me could stand as one without Batman, and even then,
I'm Bane.
I just don't see it. I can't form. I don't understand how you would think that Bane would work of all characters. I would take a Scarecrow over that, or freaking a Riddler. I mean, or fuck Two-Face. Bane.
Scarecrow's a badass character,
right? And you can do some real good stuff with those special effects now. Journey of a mind into a calculated man. I mean, there's so many. I mean, that's just my opinion, though.
I'm a Nacho Libre.
Oh, I need to run and get mine from you, Kyle. Oh my goodness! Every time I see them, so gross.
Wrestle you.
Fuck yeah, dude! I'm all for that.
Oh, 1, 2, 3. That's it.
You step into my ring.
The championship rises. I'm all for a Luchador Bane story. Give it to me. Give it to me.
I want to make blood. I'm going to climb on the top rope. I will hit you with this chair.
Give me all the Luchador Bane you have.
No, pass. Out.
Luchador Bane.
Pass. We shall pass on Luchador Bane.
All right. So speaking of characters, J.K. Simmons announced that he has signed on to appear in multiple Spider-Man sequels in the MCU.
Great.
So are you happy to see him back as J. Jonah Jameson?
Retainer or what?
What's that?
Are they just like retaining him? Like if we do 3 more movies, then you are in it.
Yeah, I think he signed a contract to do multiple more movies. So I don't know how from the Marvel from the Disney Sony deal, I thought we were only getting 1 more Spider-Man movie and then he was going to be a supporting role in futures, but it sounds like that's not going to be the case if they're signing him to multiple movies.
We just need a Rogues Gallery movie.
Unless he's going to appear in like Venom, Let There Be Carnage and some of these other standalone movies.
Entirely possible.
But I do like them taking the whole cue from the Spider-Man Sony video game and making the Daily Bugle more of a podcast, where J. Jonah Jameson's more of an Alex Jones type character. I think that's interesting. It's an interesting twist. But you guys,
What?
Yeah, I don't think this. What? That's what they did with him at the end of Spider-Man: Far From Home.
No,
it was more like a podcast. He's more like an Alex Jones, more like InfoWars.
No, he needs a cigar.
You can still have the cigar.
No,
he was bald.
Fucking podcast.
Yeah.
No,
a video podcast. It's the way of the world now, Kyle.
The Daily Bugle podcast.
That's right.
So when he goes up to interview, it's like that. Like you ever seen the other guys? TMZ Online Edition. It'll be
yes.
Oh, fuck that. No, I can't even do it.
What? Say it. You were processing it.
No, not doing it.
Your brain was processing. We can see it moving. We can see the wheels are turning.
Smoke coming out. Fuck that. It's a podcast. Peter, I need those pictures for the podcast.
Old Travis Ratz, that comment right there is brought to you by comicexposure.com. He says, I love JJ as a podcast.
Well, that's great.
I would love it.
I need those pictures of Spider-Man for the podcast. That doesn't work.
Sure it does.
It doesn't work.
No. It doesn't even sound like it would work.
Man, if Marvel actually did that as a publicity stunt and released a Daily Bugle podcast, I'd subscribe to it. I'd subscribe to it right now.
Subscribe.
I would too, if it was real in the movie.
Come on now.
Yes, if it was like a joke, like the Ron Burgundy show.
They're having a Bane pay-per-view fight. I'd watch that. Sure, no Batman.
Bane, and you're on the Bane podcast.
I'd subscribe to that.
I'd
I'll
listen to
was a
the Bane
wrestler.
podcast.
yeah.
This is what we did. I'm going to interview this referee.
And this week's segment of The Fear Rises, we're talking to Poison Ivy and tell us why Batman Forever was complete shit.
The Daily
And
Bugle
why Batman and Robin was
Get
trash too.
the fuck out of here.
You wouldn't listen to a Daily Bugle podcast?
Hell no.
Yes, I would, but not if it was in
I
the
would too.
movie.
I would too.
Not if the movie was, if it was just like he was some fucking crackpot who had a fucking podcast that he did live on YouTube.
Bro,
like us.
InfoWars, he's going to be like Alex Jones.
Pass. That's a hard pass.
Are you
The
talking
Bugle
about
needs
the
to be more like
podcast
68.
as an independent content idea, like to tune into? Like,
Like in
just-
the real world, Corbin, you got to separate your comic world from your real world here for a minute.
Not doing
I'm
it.
saying like Ron Burgundy from Anchorman, they do a joke podcast for him. If you could go to your app store right now and download the Daily Bugle podcast.
That's not what you were saying before.
No,
Thank you.
But
I'm about
no,
to
what
say,
I
I'm
said,
pretty sure
no,
didn't-
what I
no,
said,
don't gotta-
hold
don't
on.
flip flop on us now.
hold on, because you
No,
agree
no,
with it. I
I'm
said
gonna
if they
follow.
had a real life Daily Bugle podcast, you were like, I'd listen to it. That's what I'm saying. In the movie, they're
If they
doing
had
it,
a real
but I'm
life
saying I think it's a good
extension
idea.
of the content in the movies.
And if it was a real life thing in our world, if they did a
I-
JK or a
I
JK
have to agree
Simmons,
with Kyle 100%.
if they did a J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson podcast weekly that you could listen to right now on your phone, I would do it.
But
Heartbeat.
not if there was no, he wasn't in charge of the newspaper, but he did a podcast. That's stupid.
Why would it wouldn't be any different than doing like a new YouTube news show or doing like online news? Like it's the same thing.
Because it doesn't have the same.
It's just like it's just the same way as
Peter
Alex
would be
Jones
like-
does
he'd be like-
InfoWars.
Peter, I need those pictures now. And fuck you. You do a podcast. Fuck off.
Well, our current Spider-Man is not a photographer, so
Not yet.
Not yet.
just saying.
Not yet.
Alex Jones, Infowars.com.
You know, come for the jokes, stay for the podcast hypotheticals.
Fuck that.
Frogs are
dude.
gay.
Just characters.
If I was
The
listening for the
frogs
first
gay.
time and that's what was said, I'd stop listening to this.
Yep. Like Travis just
Right?
said, him having a podcast makes him a more unlikable character as he should be.
I don't care.
As he
I
should.
also-
If this was the first time listening to this show and I said fucking
We should have.
the Daily Bugle podcast, I would click it
podcast.
off and it would have its first.
It would really help J. Jonah Jameson's character development.
I think if you
All
wrote
right,
fake
we
news
need a
stories,
podcast.
I think if we did a Daily Bugle podcast and we did fake news stories like the Daily Bugle, people would check it out.
Well, yeah, but that's here in real life, not the
Exactly.
movie.
Like, Matt, you need to separate the real life from the movies, man.
Yes.
I am separating the real life from the movies.
I don't
It'd be
think that
cool if he
you are.
wasn't in charge of the newspaper. And he just did a podcast.
Hey, that's the times. We live at a time. If it's set in the here and now, newspapers don't really exist anymore. So
No,
they
no,
would have to go.
totally exist.
They would have to go to an online platform.
totally
No,
exist.
some do still exist, yes, but most people consume their news online. So therefore, it would be smarter for them to move to an online platform.
I'm done with this
We're
conversation.
just gonna do this as a podcast.
Well, it makes sense.
Hey,
I'm telling
here's
you.
the news. So, I'm going to look at other news sources and do my podcast. Spidey, get me those pictures. Fuck you. Your podcast. I'm not gonna go take pictures for you. Fuck off.
You just wrote an entire episode right there, Kyle. Welcome to the Daily Bugle podcast.
Fuck off. It should be a podcast.
I think it should. Just saying.
Yeah, it would be different if they made it more like a CNN thing, or like something.
Have you
like
not watched InfoWars? Have you not watched Alex Jones?
Well, like Grizzled Geek
Yeah,
for the facts.
He's a fucking moron.
And you,
yeah,
I
he
mean,
is a
but-
moron.
But
But
what you understand is that this would be so good for the character development of J. Jonah Jameson.
it'd be
Yeah.
like an
Why?
online.
Daily Bugle podcast.
Look how many people don't like Alex Jones. It would be the same thing. He's a conspiracy theory crackpot. He fits that Alex Jones type perfectly. So why not give him and make the Daily Bugle
No, he
his show,
No.
a show like the Alex Jones?
No.
Okay.
You want people in real life to hate this fictitious character and have a whole
No,
podcast.
see, you're fucking missing my point. The only part about real life.
I need pictures of Spider-Man.
The only part about real life I said
fuck you, you're
to
a
connect
podcast.
any of this was tell me that if there was a Daily Bugle podcast right now that you could download, you wouldn't listen to it.
What would it be about?
It could be anything, fictitious comic book movie stories in the comics or whatever. I'm just saying that was the only point, and you're harping on that. I'm saying as far as the movie goes, I like the idea that J. Jonah Jameson is going to have a more Alex Jones InfoWars type show versus a newspaper. It shows that it's at the time where it's an online media presence versus a newspaper.
I'm gonna go diplomatic here. I understand why you feel the
There's
way.
a difference between an online news media than him doing a podcast.
Well,
There's a difference.
I respectfully disagree, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah,
Matt.
if he was
Okay,
doing,
great.
like I said, if he's doing CNN or it was like a news, like if it was the Daily Bugle online, I could see that. But he's gonna do a podcast.
Sure, why not?
We have taken the Daily Bugle all the way. No offense to podcasts because I'm on one, but like to only a podcast. I mean, come on, man.
It's just like Alex Jones, an online news show.
No,
Like
it's not
InfoWars.
just like Alex Jones.
Like InfoWars, bro.
No.
InfoWars. J. Jonah Jameson Wars.
Jameson wanted to expose Spider-Man. He didn't make up he did, but he didn't have crazy conspiracy theories that he wrote himself. He delegated other people.
Oh, sure he did. You don't think the headlines were conspiracy theories he made up himself? Mass menace strikes again.
That's
That was his opinion.
just like in the second movie, food poisoning sweeps city. There's somebody had some bad food. I'm a little nauseous. Yeah, so he just made shit up. I like Alex Jones, like the water's making the freaking frogs gay.
Here, it's like this.
It'd be like Joe Rogan.
We are live today at the Daily Bugle podcast. It's great. It's great. I see 3 of you online for the news today. Thank you. Peter Parker, where's my goddamn Spider-Man pictures?
Hey man, it's a show at the times that people consume their news in different ways, in different mediums, and I fully support Disney showing that in the Spider-Man movies. Give me a Daily Bugle podcast. I'll be a subscriber.
Now, there's no reason we're having this offshoot podcasting that they do. Yes, but not Jameson be the, hey, this man is Spider-Man in my podcast. Thank you. We have 4 subscribers.
Yeah.
I'm done with you. I have nothing more to say about this, but I understand where you're coming from. I'll say that.
Because it's a fucking genius idea.
I didn't say all that.
You'll watch Gotham by Gaslight and you'll defend that to the death, but you just want to disagree with me to disagree with me. It's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
No. Gotham by Gaslight is a legit good idea.
No, it's
Gotham
not.
by Gaslight.
What about a Victorian? You want to say that a Victorian Batman?
Top 5 Elseworld books of all time.
A Victorian Batman is a good idea, but J. Jonah Jameson doing an online radio show is stupid.
That's not what you said, though.
Doing an online news podcast is stupid.
He doesn't even know what he's saying. It's changing from minute to minute. Gotham by Gaslight's a classic. If you don't understand that, Matt, I don't know what to tell you.
Sorry, you don't understand it. It's all right.
What do I
Corey.
understand?
It's all right.
What do I
Corey.
understand?
It's you know deep down. It's all right.
I don't know.
If they had a Daily Bugle, I would
just
subscribe.
rattle off all the achievements.
It's like Howard Stern
Gotham by
doing a podcast. It's not the same. It's like
Fired
It
up.
is. What's the difference between doing a radio show that you're listening to in the car versus a podcast that you
It's
download and
rated
listen to?
number 11
in
on
the
the
car.
top 25 greatest Batman graphic novels. As taught and well-conceived
In
graphic
the
novels
car.
you can find.
It's rated number of what? 11? It's not even the top 10?
It's
Oh,
top
what?
25.
It's not even the top 10. No, now we're going top 25. Now we're changing our story on where we rank with that, right?
I said it's
Fuck
the top
out of
10.
here. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
No, I'm not going anywhere. That's a good book. The fact that you don't even consider it in your, we did a whole ranking on this. You didn't even have it in your top 20.
No, I
You're
don't.
crazy,
You're right.
man. You're crazy. You're just biased.
All right, I'm not having this Batman.
You
fucking
started it.
Gotham by Gaslight argument.
You
I'm talking-
started because we
I'm
were clowning on
talking-
your lame ass idea.
No,
Okay.
it's not a lame ass idea. I'm telling
It's
you.
pretty damn lame, bro.
People consume their news differently, and if you have a news podcast, it's the same as a radio show. If you listen to Holmberg locally, back through his podcast, it's the same show. It's no different than what was on the radio, right?
Yes, they take out all the songs and they take
Okay,
out.
so you take
They
out the
got
song.
transition,
But
the live-
Stern,
take out
if you
a
listen,
bunch of stuff.
if
It's
you listen
curated.
into Stern, so they're taking out all the shit, like the songs, and they're keeping all the good content that you want to hear from Stern, right? So it would be the same thing.
Wouldn't you agree?
It would be the same thing. Stern.
Howard
doing-
Stern does not play songs.
Okay, so Stern doing his radio show versus the podcast. Is there any difference?
Let's just go to a different topic. I'm done.
Money.
I'm sorry, what?
Money.
Money. Okay. So
By
I'm
the
just
way,
saying-
Gotham by Gaslight's critical response is positive too. Can we keep it moving?
No, you can defend that to the end.
You are live on the Daily Bugle podcast.
You know, if they took this live show and made it into like a segment of podcast, we'd probably cut out this J. Jonah Jameson segment
No, we would
to
not.
leave the good parts. To leave the good parts in.
Nope, it would still be there.
Okay.
We'd cut out the Batwoman talk and the stupid Gotham by Gaslight. I watched that movie again. I agree with Tim. You should have just poured salt in your fucking eyes. That would have been a lot better.
You're live on the Daily Bugle podcast.
Oh,
I'd watched it. I'd subscribe. I'd subscribe. and
Did you want to
listen
watch
daily.
The Green Potatoes of the Daily Bugle podcast.
I'd listen daily.
you don't know good movies, but you watch a crappy little
Oh
podcast.
my god, I don't know good movies. Okay. Okay.
The DC animated movies have been trash.
Why don't you go on another podcast and mansplain some movies to me, all right?
Man,
I don't need you to mansplain anything to me, all right?
big words. Oh snap!
If I wanted someone to mansplain movies to me, I'd go somewhere else. I would keep on geeking on.
Wow.
When Matt gets upset, he's just firing at everybody.
I know. I'm mad, so I'm going to take it out on the Daily Bugle podcast.
Hey, look, I like the Daily Bugle podcast. I would totally do it.
Oh my god! I'm crying.
is, beating that dead horse.
That's for Tim, who said they're beating a dead horse.
We are.
That is
I tried to say let's go to the next topic like 4 different times.
stupid idea.
Matt was so busy lashing out at everybody.
You even said you would listen to a Daily Bugle podcast. So how's it a stupid idea?
Drop the act and just let's move on, Matt. Okay? Let's move
Wait,
on.
hold on. Corbin, we're in what I call the Matt loop.
Oh my God.
Let's
We're not at a Matt loop. I'm just
We are
proving my
stuck
point.
in the Matt loop.
We're
No.
gonna go next to Sony and why they need to stop building movies
The
around
Matt loop.
No.
We're stuck in the Matt loop, everybody. Please give us 5 more minutes until
Nope.
we've got the
So,
loop
Dark
straightened out.
Phoenix director Simon Kingberg said he would be excited to direct an X-Men movie in the MCU. Do you think the guy that directed?
Shit, you.
You don't think the guy that directed Dark Phoenix should get another crack at it?
Only if he did a podcast about it.
And this is how we get stuck in the Matt loop.
There he is, beating that dead horse.
I mean, listen, it was recent. Maybe he'll learn from his mistakes. That being said, Dark Phoenix is a pretty crappy movie. I think he should take a chill pill, sit a couple movies out. Maybe we'll try again. I believe in redemption, but not so soon.
When he needs to go off and do a documentary about podcasts.
Oh my
Oh my god. I'm glad we're not letting him off the hook on that one, though. But yeah.
Get him off the hook.
I'll do a
I think
podcast
also
about the
he was
hook.
kind of dealt a bad hand where it was like, oh, you need to finish this, and also there's no hope of it coming back. And it happens to be the biggest story, you know, in that.
What bad hand? The movie was done and filmed and edited and in the can and then shelved before the deal even went through.
No. I'm not saying about, but at that point they already knew that they weren't building anything further. There was nothing else for them to lead off on. I'm not saying that it was in concept the movie was bad. I'm not saying it's like a Snyder cut or Ayers cut where something needed to be done. He did everything he wanted to do. It just didn't work. But I'm saying in terms of, oh, you need to wrap up this grand finale to everything that we've been building over this last 19 years. Oh, and by the way,
Fuck you, Wax Jock. God damn it. Reflect on his mistakes, maybe on a podcast. Fuck all of you.
Oh, I love it.
Awesome.
I love it.
I gotta check it out. Wait, hold on.
Fuck all of
Good
you.
times.
Oh, you missed the classic Matt loop, my friend.
You were.
Oh yeah.
We were
Oh,
stuck
yeah.
in Matt loop. So
You were not stuck in a mat loop.
you were stuck in a Matt loop.
That's exactly what we were stuck in. It was glorious too. Well, gloriously painful, but
Because as a Joe Rogan fan, I have a feeling Brian would have a different opinion than you two.
About?
Okay.
So
Oh,
we
here
were
we go
talking
again.
about how J.K. Simmons has signed multiple deals to be in Spider-Man movies, and that I said it's cool to see that they're going off of taking the idea from the Spider-Man game, and where J. Jonah Jameson has a podcast, the Daily Bugle podcast is a podcast type show like InfoWars or Joe Rogan would be. It's a cool and different idea to run with, and it works good for this character in this MCU. And they're telling me it's a stupid idea.
I think it's a good idea because there's radio's dying.
And newspapers dying. People are consuming their news in different ways.
Yes.
And Kyle says that it's stupid for him to have a podcast.
I mean, I kind of
No.
I
Yeah,
respect the idea, as I've said before.
they have an online presence, an online show, but the
Hey,
give us a podcast. Peter, where's those damn Spider-Man pictures? Fuck you, Jameson. You're on a podcast. That dude, where's my money?
Podcast is a relative. We're doing a video podcast right now. Podcast is such a broad term.
The operative word, though.
You gonna pay me for those pictures? I'm doing a goddamn podcast. You think we make money here? Why you no fucking pictures then?
Look,
JJJ, fuck you. I'm out of here. I'm fucking Spider-Man.
I just can't. I just can't.
Wax Jock likes my ideas, even though he's taking shots at me.
Meta Spider-Man. I'd like to think that we have now 5 subscribers to listen to me bitch about Spider-Man
Hell yeah.
on my podcast. I'm just joking. I love podcasts. Podcasts are awesome. But to go from this thing, it's like, okay, news media and the newspapers is huge. To take it like if it was like a CNN type thing, like I was saying, it would be different. You know what I mean? Like if it was, I get newspaper is dying, but to have it as a downloadable show that like it would be different. It would actually be like it would be its own channel on cable, like CNN or MSNBC.
Yeah, like InfoWars with Alex Jones. He does his show live from his studio, but from a website because he's been kicked off of YouTube and everywhere else because he's a crackpot. That's what J. Jonah Jameson is. Thank you.
Spider-Man couldn't read.
Spider-Man couldn't read, you asshole. Yes, Waxjock, he will do ads for MeUndies and Manscaped as well as Raid Shadow Legends and every other.
I'm going to get back to you about Spider-Man, but first I have to say, everybody, you need to go visit adamandeve.com, where we'll send you a free sex toy with your very first sign up. Just type in J. Jonah Jameson in the upper right-hand corner, and you too can get sex toys. Now that's Spider-Man. He's a menace to society.
And now, hit your Blue Chew, along with Brooklyn Betting. Have you guys ever seen The Family Guy where they make fun of that? Where Lois is in prison, and she calls him, and he's interviewing her like they're on a podcast, and every time she says something, he does a new ad.
I think I have seen that one. Yeah.
I don't know. That's it. Just like there's nothing wrong with podcasts. Podcasts are awesome. It's great, but to take something as huge
Fresh commercials, yep,
is JJJ and take them all the way down to such a medium that like podcasting is, unless you're part of the elite, it's hard to have. Unless you're like Joe Rogan, and in the real world, JJJ wouldn't be like Joe Rogan because he's not famous. He would just be a dude that does a podcast, and it's bigger than that. I don't know.
This rant is brought to you by Stinson Peanut Butter Whiskey.
Ooh, I should go get some of that.
Yeah, you gotta just do ads, man. Hello Fresh.
Bleeding cool.
Doing ads right now. We ain't making
Blue Apron.
Blue Apron, yep.
Den of Geek gave it a 3 out of 5. Rotten Tomatoes 73%.
On what? What are you reading about now?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still talking about Gotham.
You're still going on about Gotham, I guess.
We're still talking about this fucking podcast idea, so I thought we might as well go in the same loop.
That's because we were explaining to Brian, who so elegantly joined us, right?
You were just trying to get someone to join your side. Let's go. You know it. You just didn't want to be beat on by everyone else. You took somebody out to help you out.
No.
Wait. Brian's here. He'll love my idea.
Right.
Oh, Brian.
I clued him in.
Brian. Oh, Brian.
I clued him in. It's okay.
Yeah, I get it. Nobody wants to be alone while everyone picks on you.
No, it's all right, because I had a good idea. It's a good idea. It's all right.
At the end of the day, we're split 50-50, and you got one guy in the chat, and that's great. Shout out to West.
I want to give a quick shout out to Fantastic Worlds Comics. I'm the last Absolute Geek guy to show up in there, and so big shout out to Isvan. I believe that's if I'm saying your name wrong. Yeah. Yep. Very, very cool cat. Toronto native that I had a lot of fun talking hockey with. He's a Leaf fan, and we got to talk a little bit about Austin Matthews, which was fun. Wonderful store. It was nice to walk into a store and see a lot of back issues, and to see all those boxes there. And it was a fun little outing. It's definitely far ways from me, but whenever I'm in the area, I'll do my best to stop in. So make sure you guys, if you're in the Phoenix area, go check out Fantastic World Comics.
Boom. That's a nice segue. That's a very nice ad.
Brian, we've been waiting for that segue since the last 30 minutes.
Anyways.
Thank you so much for that.
Daredevil, the rights for Daredevil will go back to Marvel in less than 6 months. Just enough time for them to sneak him into the next Spider-Man movie. Do you think they recast? Because Charlie Cox says he's not been contacted about it. He knows nothing about it. He's not going to be in the Spider-Man movie. But do you think they recast the role, or do you think he's lying to us?
Yeah, I bet.
You're muted, Brian.
Hopefully they don't recast, because he was fucking great.
Daredevil.
Oh, Charlie Cox?
Yeah, if they're going to recast, since they get the rights back in 6 months, if they recast that role and put him in Spider-Man, or
They'd be stupid.
to recast him?
Yeah, they'd be stupid to recast him.
He's a great character. Everybody loves him.
I thought he killed it as Daredevil.
Yeah, he was the best part. He was definitely the best casted person. Luke Cage was good casting too. They should keep him as Luke Cage. And I like Jessica Jones casting. But yeah, for Charlie Cox, by far, they need to figure something out.
Yeah, they really do.
That's kind of like the same thing when everybody was going crazy about the Flash casting. Everybody wanted Grant Gustin or whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that's another similar thing like that. That guy's a great Flash, and I know everybody's pissed about that. So hopefully they don't pull that type of bullshit where they don't even listen to people.
How do you guys feel about Michael Jai White saying that he wants to play a Green Lantern in the future DC Green Lantern movies?
I don't. I'm not a fan of that.
You don't want to see Michael Jai White as you don't want to see Black. You don't want to see Black Dynamite as a Green Lantern.
No, not a fan of Michael Jai White as a Green Lantern.
Come on. The original Spawn, man.
Oh, ass.
Yeah.
Damn. Haters. Poor Michael Jai White.
Yep.
I'd like to see Michael Jai White as Jonathan Stewart.
There's better actors that can do it.
Yeah.
Way better actors, yeah.
Like Martin Short.
Martin Short? Martin Short is a Green Lantern?
Martin!
No, no, that's Martin Lawrence.
Oh, shit. Never mind. Martin Short.
Martin Short is like, he's a comedian.
Oh,
Ted
no,
Grimley.
Yeah.
I loved Ed Grimley growing up, man.
Martin Short. And then he starts singing the Martin theme song and bringing it around town.
That's fucking awesome.
Oh my God. Oh fuck. Bro, you bringing it around town, singing the Martin theme song. You're not even talking about the right Martin.
Martin Short. Martin Short.
Oh my God. It's so good.
I drank too much whiskey already.
So good.
I love it.
That's it. See you guys later. Have a good night.
So they're talking. They're already talking about a second season of Falcon Winter Soldier. The first season hasn't even aired yet, or isn't even done filming yet. But they're saying the second season will go by a different name, most likely Bucky and Cap, or Captain Bucky.
So the first
Captain
season
Bucky.
sucks, and they've already changed it.
No, because I think the
Yeah,
first
that's
season.
what it is.
I think the first season is going to focus more on him becoming Captain America,
Cap.
and then the second season will be him going as Cap forward. So it's kind of introducing the audience that's not the big comic readers to the Falcon Captain America. Martin Short is Green Lantern and Chevy Chase is Sinestro. Corbin missed that one.
You did miss that one.
Sorry. Duty called.
Yeah,
I got my Martins
the
mixed
actual
up.
duty. You did get your Martins mixed up. I don't know how you get Martins and
Wait,
Short
wait,
mixed
what?
up.
Oh. See, I couldn't have been there to witness that. Okay. Okay, cool.
I just like how confident you were that you even brought it around town only to be completely wrong about what Martin you were talking about.
At my job, somebody got Alicia Keys and Mariah Carey mixed up, so it's
Ugh,
yeah. I just looked and I went,
so good.
no. I was like, they don't even look this, and then I went, no. People get Lawrence Fishburne and Denzel. I'm not even gonna do it. Like, it's whatever.
Everybody gets one, right, Spider-Man? Right, Peter.
Oh man. Our old buddy Joe Exotic is in the news again, as this week not only has he lost a court ruling and lost his park to that bitch Carol Baskin, it's now come out that she has forged her husband's will. So yeah, Brian's
TMZ kind of bring that out though when they're doing.
I did not know they proved it.
Yeah, they came out in I don't know what I'm saying.
You and me both, brother.
And I do a podcast. The sheriff in Florida said that they had the handwriting sample analyzed by several different handwriting experts, and they don't match his handwriting, and they said it is a forgery. So they're going to reopen the case, and they just have to see what the statute of limitation is. I don't know if there is a statute of limitation on murder, but they're going to open it back up, and she is going to be looked at for the murder of her husband. You're on mute again, Brian. Brian's on mute
Everybody
again.
knows she did it.
She deserves to be, man. She deserves to be fucking in jail.
That bitch Carol Baskin. And Jeff Lowe, as far as the park goes, Jeff Lowe said that he kind of saw this coming and that he doesn't really care. He's not going to fight it. So
Yeah, because he already built that other big park.
yeah, she doesn't get the animals. She just gets the park. So she pretty much
So he's gonna
won.
get a bunch of land and empty cages.
Yes,
Good for
Erica,
her.
she fucked him in his she fucking fed him to the tigers. Yes, she did. Sardine oil on the shoes, exactly. Yep, I saw a tiger.
I hope she gets arrested.
Yeah.
Me too.
Fuck yeah. Goes to prison, man.
Yeah, it's deserved.
And apparently the guys
Don't even give us a show. The next topic is that bitch Carol Baskin killed her husband.
apparently the guys that wrote all of his country
Spider-Man
music
pictures.
songs are working on a Tiger King album. They're gonna release
hell yeah.
new songs for
Hell yeah.
the Tiger King album.
Yeah, because he wasn't really singing.
No.
That's my favorite part.
He
Is
sang?
that he wasn't even really singing.
Yeah.
No, it was just so full of stuff. He made his own videos of him. It's awesome, dude. Everything about it is awesome.
But you want to go ahead and run down the hot 10, recap the hot 10, Brian?
Yes, I can. 1 second.
Gotta roll this blunt, bitch.
Yeah, she fed his ass to the Tigers straight up. No questions.
How Baskins.
That bitch Carol Baskin. Sardine oil on the shoes.
In the top right corner, put in that bitch Carol Baskin for 50% off Adam and Eve.
Guys are a mess.
All right, let me find this shit.
Put in 20% off for Adam and Eve.
Buy one dildo, get one free.
All right.
Top right corner, bitch Carol Baskin.
Yep. This segment of the Absolute Geek Podcast is brought to you by MeUndies.
This week is interesting because Ben Stein, who usually writes the Hot 10 list, decided he was going to take a vacation, a much-deserved vacation. So him and family, yeah, good for him. Yeah.
Is he any relation to Ben Stein?
Nope. It's Ben Steiniger is his name, but we just call him Stein.
Okay.
So, but yeah, Ben Stein writes. Steiniger writes the Hot 10 list every week. He took this week off. He was going on vacation with his family, so a couple of the writers over at CBSI picked it up. And so we don't have a Golden Age honorable mention this week, but the first honorable mention this week is one of my favorite books on the list, and that's the Peach Momoko special Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 100 cover, the exclusive variant that she did. I think this is by far, I'm not a Peach Momoko fan, but this is by far her best work, in my opinion.
I want a poster size of that.
Isn't that gorgeous?
That is. That's dope.
Podcast about that shirt.
Yeah.
I love it, man. So a lot of people were talking about that Yoda cover that everybody was seeing last week as being like the cover of the year, but this destroys that cover.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
For sure.
Honorable mention number 2 this week is Caliber Presents number 1, the first appearance of Crow. This is interesting because a 9.6 set a record price at auction this week for $640. April set the price at $575, so it's gone up almost $100 since April. And prior to that, to April, everything was sub 500. So 9.8 prices are going to be crazy. They should be, $1,400 plus. But it's interesting to see that people are wanting to buy this book again. So very cool book, being the first appearance of the Crow.
Crow rumors coming out.
I don't know about any Crow rumors coming out, but there always is.
They've been working on. I thought they were working on a Crow movie with Jason Momoa.
I thought
that guy can, but that's the last Crow anything I've heard.
Yeah.
Well, if Matt didn't hear nothing, then there ain't shit.
That's right, because I run a podcast.
Number 10 this week is...
It's brought to you by MeUndies. If you're chafing in places and you got no room for spaces,
you got some
go to MeUndies.com and put in code Absolute Geek Podcast for 69% off your next pair of underwear.
Stars and Stripe number 0 is the first appearance, I guess, of Stargirl, this version of Stargirl, and everything is going crazy on the TV. So DC Universe TV spec is usually hit or miss, but reports on the show are people are loving it. And I saw a little clip over this last week where it showed the JSA stuff, and that kind of was pretty awesome to watch because I'm a big JSA fan. So Alan Scott, they talked about Alan Scott. They showed his power battery. They talked about the Golden Age Flash. They talked about Johnny Thunder. It was really cool. They talked about the Spectre. We're going to see some cool stuff out of that show, and sounds like they're doing it right. So this character is flying off shelves right now. Number 9 is Heir to the Empire, number 1, the first appearance of Thrawn. And everybody knows that Thrawn we're going to see Thrawn in the live action stuff. So they're pretty heavy on that being, I think, the next villain in the movies. And all of Thrawn stuff is going through the roof. There is a newsstand available for this issue that is almost impossible to find. And they're super hard to find in high grade because the cover is like a cardstock and can't be pressed. And the one that everybody's going gaga for right now, other than the newsstand, is the action figure variant, which comes in a 2-pack, a special 2-pack that has Thrawn and I forget the other character. But be careful, because if you buy that version thinking that you want to go press it, because most of those comics are pretty damaged because of being in the action figure case. So most people think, oh, I'll just press it. It's very hard to press the action figure variant because there's no staples in it, and they use glue. And of course, once you start heating that up, your pages are going to start falling out. So just remember to be careful when you buy this book, knowing that you can't press it. But copies, like I said, copies are going absolutely crazy. This was a $30 to $40 book a couple weeks ago, which was crazy then. Now it's $50 plus, and it's going to keep just going higher and higher and higher. And
Solo Wookiee, I was watching Jesse James the other night, and he had a whole bunch of Star Wars shit for sale from Dark Horse. So I messaged Solo Wookiee, and I was like, hey, you better jump on Jesse's and start picking out some of these Dark Horse issues. Fucking the baller that Solo Wookiee is, he's like, he didn't say I want 2. He said, I want all of them.
Yep.
He bought fucking a stack, dude. A fucking stack.
Good for him.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. He thought at first he was going to be battling me and you for the Star Wars books. And I was like, nah, man, I bought a couple Kylo Ren covers that he had, but there's that Dark Horse thing. Solo Wookiee was just like, I'll take them all.
Nice. Number 8 is the Venom 25 Clayton Crane variant, store variant. So there's a black and white, a red, and a color version. And this is an homage.
You see him on CGC?
No.
Dude, he's such an awesome dude.
He is. Clayton Crane is one of the best. He's super, super. You can walk up to him and talk to him, no problem. He's got a great autograph. He does that cool color scheme in the autographs. Yeah. And this is a great cover. People love Clayton Crane.
Speaking of CGC, real quick, Brian, don't you guys have something going on CBSI tomorrow night with CGC?
We do. Tomorrow night on the Flipside channel, we're going to be interviewing the primary or head grader of CGC.
Wow.
Yeah, so I definitely want to talk about that after this. Maybe we can come up with some questions, because now's the time. So while we're doing this, if you guys,
he gets laid.
Yeah. So
we know how to time the books.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions you can think of, definitely put them in the chat, and maybe we'll ask them. But we'll get into that here in a second. Number 7 is A Distant Soil, issue 6. This is a crazy book, and the best way to explain this is to show you an article that was done on comicbookinvest.com by Topher, the one and only Topher the Great, who definitely is the great. Make sure you guys go check out Topher's articles. He's the best. But the reason that book is selling for so much right now is because of the Panda Con rumors of the cartoon for Panda Con. And if you guys don't remember Panda Con, I'm about to blow you away. The first appearance of Panda Con is actually a different book. It's a Distant Soil, number 5 from Warp Graphics, where they show a splash ad, and there's the splash ad you can see. And then his first solo story is in Warp Graphics Annual number 1. And of course, there's a lot of miniature appearances in between there. But for all you Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans out there, you'll remember Panda Con from this character.
Wow.
And what a great character this was when these toys were super hard and heavy, because this was like Usagi Yojimbo's road dog, you know. I was a big Usagi Yojimbo guy when these Turtles figures were out, and I remember seeing this character and thinking, oh, there's Usagi Yojimbo's partner in crime. So this was my brother loved this character growing up. I loved this character growing up. So we're going to be seeing a new cartoon coming out. I don't know what the rumors are, if it's going to be adult or what, but the Panda Con stuff is going to see a spike and all that. And a lot of people don't even know who that character is. So that's a Distant Soil issue 6 is an Image book. and it's probably like a first modern appearance of him, I would imagine, that's causing this character or this book to go up. So it was $1.50 book until Monday. Once Monday hit and the news came out, it turned it into a $50 book raw.
Great.
So yeah. So it's a Distant Soil issue 6 from Image. Number 6. Here's the book we've been talking about forever. We've talked about this book a lot on this show. Why this book wasn't gaining as much traction as the other books. Well, for all you guys that slept on this book, good luck now. It's a $40 raw book. This was a $7 book all day. You could find them for cheaper than that. This is the second printing variant. So it's not a second print. It's the second printing variant. And I believe it's actually like a fourth print, because it's got the fourth in the bar for the barcode, and it says Marvel second printing variant right above the barcode. So it's kind of tricky, but they call this the second print white variant, whereas the other second printing is the one without the mask, where he's standing or where he's showing his face. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's where he's showing his face.
Yeah. So, but this book, $40 book right now. If you have them,
I went past that book.
Oh yeah, a ton of people have. So,
no.
Yep. Number 5, another Peach Momoko store variant on the list. This is Disaster Inc. from Aftershock Comics, and again, Peach Momoko causing this book to go crazy right now. A signed 9.8 copy sold for $500.
Dang.
So yeah, limited run on this. But I don't know. It's not my favorite cover. Definitely not my favorite Peach Momoko cover. But it's a hot book right now, so that's why it's on the list. Number 4, Dr. Aphra, number 1, the 1 in 25 variant. What's crazy about this book's been on the list a couple of times so far, but what's crazy about this book is that it's a 1 in 25, and the 1 in 50 is selling for less than the 1 in 25 because people love this character so much, and it's such a great cover. It shows her Wookiee counterpart behind him. That character is going to be a big character, Wookiee bounty hunter. So if you guys ever see this book in the wild and you can get it at a decent price under $70, I would definitely think about purchasing it. Matter of fact, I would purchase it because I see this book continuing to rise. All right, number 3 this week, the Wolverine JTC negative variant. Yeah, yuck. Again, I hate seeing this book on the list. It makes me even more angry in seeing it now because we all know what happened where ECC put a bunch of copies for sale on their website. And the shitty thing about this is when this book was originally offered at ECCC, Emerald Comic Con.
Emerald City Comic Con, yep.
Yeah, Emerald City Comic Con. It was a numbered book to 3,000, and it actually had the number out of 3,000 like in the bottom right corner. Well, supposedly all those sold out, caused it to be like $1,000 book, 9.8. But then one day, a couple of months ago, somebody noticed on some online place they were selling for like $70, and you could get them there. Well, those ones had a different numbered version out of 1,500. So are they reprinting these? Like, what are they doing? And if they are reprinting them, that's fucking underhanded. People are going to want, like, are people going to think that the out of 1,500 one is worth more than the 3,000 just because it's a different number? It's the same fucking cover put out by the same people at the same time. There's some weird shenanigans going on with this book. So just make sure before you buy this book that you know about what's going on. Hopefully we'll see some more come out and, you know, some stuff figured out about what's going on with all the shenanigans, but I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. $160 book raw right now is what they're going for. Yep, pass. Number 2, Star Wars number 42, the first appearance of Boba Fett. We all know this isn't the first comic appearance. This is the second or third comic appearance, but this is the one most people go for. And it's a tough book to find right now. There's newsstand variants, as you see, like that one, and direct variants that have the Spider-Man head on it. But 9.8 set an all-time high at auction this week for $826. The previous high in 2015 was $720. and
That's
two
what
others.
Chad for $40.
Yeah, two others. You sold this book to Chad for $40?
Yeah.
And a decent copy?
Yeah.
There you go. Shout
Hook him
out.
up.
Yep, hooked him up.
Hey man, he was hooking me up, man. I hooked him up.
Yep. Two other copy 9.8 sold at $645 and $700 this week. So people are wanting this book and they're wanting it now. So if you have one and it's 9.8 worthy, maybe think about getting it graded and throwing it up for $1,000, and I bet you it sells.
Jesus.
Number one this week, Spawn, the 226 sketch variant for the homage cover. Now, this is crazy. Last week, we had reports that copies of this were selling for outrageous numbers, and a 9.8 sold for almost $1,800, and then another one sold for $1,500. One was a CGC and one was a CBCS. Yeah, obviously, you know which ones were based on the price. But there is many more black and white homage variants. I think they went from like issue 220 up to like 240. They did homages for a ton of covers, all McFarlane, just gorgeous line work sketch drawings, and all the black and white sketch drawings, all of them, not just 226. They're all going through the roof, including the inauguration or the presidential election one variants, where they did a Mitt Romney one. They think they did a McCain one. I think they did a Hillary one, and I think they did an Obama one. And all those ones are selling for $400 raw. So keep your eyes out. And if you guys have one of these, hold on to it, because they're going to continue going up for how small the print one was. But so yeah, that's the Hot 10 this week.
Nice.
That's solid.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool.
Super exciting. All right, so go ahead and you want to talk about the CGC?
Yes. Okay. So again, on Saturdays, there's a podcast called Weekend Update, where Nico usually interviews somebody, you know, in the comic community that, you know, is making big moves out there and is doing cool stuff, interesting stuff. So we are going to have the head grader, primary grader on at CGC, Matt Nelson, I believe is his name. Yeah, questions. Has anybody thrown out any questions? Any good questions that we see out there? You guys got any good ideas for questions?
I would love to see just their rundown of how they grade books and what their process is, because they've never really talked about it.
Yeah.
How they do that.
Like, he's the head grader, so that means is there specific books that he grades, or is he like quality control of the graders? Like, so he grades it and then compares it to another grader and they see what's going on?
That's a great question, and I will definitely write that down.
Like, what book does he?
Do they look at the staples or not? Get that fucking put to bed.
Yes. Okay.
Without having to send a book in to get graded. Put that one to bed.
Yeah, mine was just like, what kind of book does he run into or see the most? I'm sure it's like several key issues that he's always constantly looking at. So which one gets sent the most? Then you could conversely, which one do you not see as much as he thinks he would have seen? You know?
Corbin wants to know what book comes across, what any grades gives him a boner still.
Yeah.
What book do you grade the most that gives you a boner still?
Also, what book do you think you'd see more of that you don't read into that much? You know, it's interesting.
I don't even get hard.
Yeah, it's gonna be
less than
It'll be
Spider-Man
another great
121.
question. Is all those things that we always say. I wonder if CGC takes off for this, like, color stripes for signs of the time, and like how the printing press was with the the end of the run. It has the holes in the bottom of the book. They take off for that. Would like stuff like that? Like, we always say, oh, it's sign of the time, so they don't take off for that. Or we always say, I wonder if CGC takes off for that. Those are the kind of things that would be kind of cool to put to bed. Okay, this is
Yes.
we know CGC takes off for this. We know that they don't for this.
No, you're right.
Like,
We actually already put
increases.
that's one of the questions that we will be asking is to tell us about what they allow and what they don't allow. With restoration, how that works, stuff like that. What are requirements for a grader? I mean, like, what training do they go through? Do they have to have certain skills when they're hired? Do you train? Like
There's
what
set of skills?
Solo
Yeah.
Wookie says, what are the first 3 big things he looks at or looks for on a book as marks, and how many marks per point?
Okay.
So like how many, like if it's got some spine ticks, is it 1 point per spine tick, or is it just because there's spine ticks, it's X amount of points?
I know a lot of that is the type of spine tick, how much color it breaks, stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah, those are all great questions, and definitely ones I will be trying to ask. I won't be doing the interview, but I'm definitely going to be typing questions in the chat. So it'll be interesting.
So yeah, if you're watching the show live Friday night, that's tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow on CBSI's YouTube page. If you're listening to this playback on Monday, if you go to YouTube and look for CBSI, you can catch the replay of it if it's something that you're interested in. So I think I'm going to check it out because it's definitely something I'm interested in, because I want to understand the grading process more. Yeah, now. Since buying graded books has pretty much consumed my wallet, but
So bust out that first appearance of Black Cat and show us what you're talking about in chat.
So I just got a first appearance of Black Cat 7.0. Like I feel like when I shake it, you can hear like the book moving around. It feels like the book moves, and then the top of the case right along here, you kind of can't see it on camera. But I can almost separate the case enough to pull the label out.
Some of those older cases, there's a little bit of play and everything. So that's kind of normal. And I think it depends on how they vacuum sealed it and cut it as to how much play there is inside of it.
Yeah, like
That's a great question right there.
like I've got a plastic fork here, and there's so much room in there that I can stick a plastic fork in the case.
I've got books that there's some play in the top and play in the sides, though. They're not as much anymore. Like, hold up that label. It's a newer label.
It doesn't say. Normally, it says when the book was graded, but this one doesn't.
Does the top have the label on the top of it that tells you what it is? Is that under the plastic or above the plastic?
It's above the plastic.
So it's an older one. Don't they have that under the plastic now?
Well, do a comparison here. This one, I'll grab this one. This was just done at New York Comic Con last year. So that's the New York Comic Con label. So I mean, it looks like they're the same label, but
flip it up so we can see the top.
Hold it steady.
No, there. That is that inside
yes.
on that book, but on the other book, it's on the outside.
No, it's the same.
I think it's just the cases, man. As long as there's not a lot of.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's play in some of those cases.
There's different typeset on the top, right?
No, it's the same.
Same size and everything? Same point?
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks just like when I picked it up and I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, and then I like shook it and it's got a lot of play in it versus like this one for 252, there's no play in it, but like the first Black Cat, there's a lot of play, and then I saw that case opening, I was like, oh, that's not good. So
That'll be something that I definitely ask about.
you should ask him about that Spider-Man 298 I have. And how a signature can get passed over and still get a blue label.
Dude, they want, when that stuff happens, they want that stuff back.
Yeah.
They want it back so they can put it out and relabel it.
Yep.
So when that happened another time, they wanted that book back so quick.
Yeah, that happened with the that first Iron Fist.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's interesting stuff to ask them.
You're right. Chuck makes a good point. Then don't shake it or shove forks in it.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I just shoved the fork in it to show that there's that spacing there because I can't like get it on the camera. So I figured just putting the fork in there would show that how much the play there is. But I'm not gonna shake it. It's sitting in a box.
Did you guys talk about DC already?
No, we've not talked about DC not using Diamond anymore.
So when I went into Fantastic World Comics today, that news had just broke. And it was interesting talking with a person that works in a local shop about that. And, you know, they're worried both ways. They're like, how do we get our books now for Joker War? You know, now we got to struggle to get our books for Joker War, which everybody wants. And if we don't get our new books for a week or a month or a couple weeks, that's a large part of that store's money that they're bringing in. So now they have to jump through hoops and this and that, and it could be a nightmare, but in the long run, it could be glorious. It's just going to be interesting to see how this all plays out.
There's some cool dudes at Fantastic World Comics. There's some cool dudes.
I wouldn't be surprised if Diamond still sends those books out because those were pre-ordered before the pandemic hit. So there's got to be like a cutoff date or a stipulation for when those books don't get sent out. When they're going to cut off from Diamond.
Yeah.
Maybe they made them send them back to DC.
That could be too. Maybe they requested them to be they requested the money back from Diamond and they just transferred it over to their new publishers. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see what happens with that.
Cool. It's, Fantastic World Comics is a really fun store to go into and eye candy around and buy something, but actually just to sit there and talk comics. It's a really fun store to talk comics in, where they love just talking comics with their customers.
Yeah, I actually found something that I was super stoked that I never seen anywhere. I ended up buying a complete run of like number 1 through 18 of these old comic monthlies, the comic values monthly from like the early 80s, man. I mean, look at this. There's the Thundercats.
Nice.
I mean, look at this one. This one's crazy. I don't know what is the deal with this. I don't know if it's the original gobbledygook or what. But there is one that on the cover it shows gobbledygook in black and white. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is.
Oh, wow.
Gobbledygook number 1, and then here's the first ever issue.
Very nice.
So it was nice. I haven't opened them up and looked in them yet, but you guys know me. I love these old comic magazine type reading things, behind the scenes type shit. So I bought all those, and then I got a couple just regular books. I bought. I love this Adam Hughes run of Rose and Thorn, and this is one of my favorite Rose and Thorn covers.
Where'd you get that?
At Fantastic World.
Oh, wow.
And then I got this. This is a book I've been looking for a while. This is a sweet ass Dave Stevens Marilyn Monroe cover.
Whoa.
Was that their back issue bin? Just something you were digging through and found? Or
Yeah. Yep. These were in a back issue bin. And then I love this cover, the Elementals cover where she's having sex with the dolphin. I buy that every time. And then I asked him, I was talking to Istvan, and I asked him, I said, have you been selling much Star Wars? He goes, yeah, a guy came in a couple days ago and bought like a couple $100 worth of all the Dark Horse Star Wars stuff. And he was right. All that shit was, but I found this one. I had never seen this issue. So it's Star Wars Republic number 80, Jedi Fugitive, but it looked like it might've been one of the later issues. So I picked it up. It was only $3. Aftermath of Order 66. So that was kind of cool. And then I, on the way home from there, I stopped by a Zia check out there, see if they have any Star Wars books, and I found this Star Wars Twilight, the first. I think this is like early. What's this guy's name again? I forget his name. What's his name again?
I'm not gonna come.
I don't know. I can't really see it.
This guy.
He's
I'm not sure.
Solo Wookiee's screaming at me right now. He's a major Jedi that was in the Clone Wars and stuff. And then I got this episode 1 Phantom Menace issue, and episode 2 or episode 1 number 2. This is the first appearance of Darth Maul. And then this was the ultimate score right here. Jango Fett, the Prestige issue.
It's pretty neat.
First appearance of young Boba Fett in this.
From Zeus?
Yep.
Oh, what a find.
Super tough book. I bought all these books, the whole episode 1 Phantom Menace run, all 4 issues. First, what's her name again?
Padme?
No, not Padme, the one that looks like her.
Oh, her body double?
Yeah, her body double is in that.
Oh, yeah, I know it. Yeah.
And then this is a weird one I had never seen. It's a Wanted Comics exclusive. Shows all the figures.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
That's pretty neat. You get some good finds over there once in a while.
I love that type of shit.
All
What's
right.
that, Kyle?
Is that a JTC cover?
Yes. Yeah. I'm trying to find. I think issue 1 says something about something, but no, I thought it did. Oh yeah, there's Darth Maul right there.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a nice find. I'm jealous, but not really. I'm excited, you know?
Yeah. I love this type of shit, man. And I love that there's excitement in comics and Star Wars at the same time. So
It's like a twofer.
Twofer, you're fucking right.
Like J. John Jameson and podcasts.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so let's go ahead and end our show this week with a little bit of odd news.
Tonight, the Six Sad World primetime special with people just like you, only more pathetic.
It's a bit nutty.
You're crazy, man. You're crazy.
So a Virginia brewery announces that it's seeking a chief hiking officer. You'll be paid $20,000 to spend 5 to 7 months hiking the Appalachian Trail and drinking beer.
Sold.
Sounds like a good deal if you didn't have to hike that long ass trail.
After the exercise part,
if you didn't have to hike a 2,000 mile trail, like can you?
Yeah, like the 8 states.
Yeah, can you bike ride it or something, or I don't know.
hey man, you just
Dirt bike it a little bit. I don't know.
Some nice moccasins, man. You just cruise, dude.
I'm all in, I'm all in for the drinking beer and getting paid $20,000 for it. I'm not so keen on the 2,000 mile hike though.
Exercise.
Through some of the most dangerous mountains.
Yeah, that's not my cup of tea.
I'm good too.
I'll pass on that. Although, yeah, no, that's a lot of walking.
Yeah,
that's a lot of walking for this potato body. Can I Uber, right? Can I Uber? Hell yeah, dirt bike it or something.
Just put Uber in the top right corner. It's AJJ podcast.
Tim says, how the fuck did I not know about this? Walking and drinking beer in my state. There you go.
Right? Fucking slacker.
What state is it in?
Virginia. A Virginia brewery announces that it's seeking the chief hiking officer. So it's a Virginia brewery that's doing it.
That's pretty sick.
I didn't know Tim was in Virginia.
Yep.
That's where Nico is.
And isn't that the state for lovers?
It's a state for fucking heroin addicts. That's what it's for.
Oh wow.
Heroin addicts and Oxycontin fiends. Just watch the wild, wonderful whites of West Virginia.
Oh wow.
Oh, he's in Virginia, right? Not West Virginia.
Yeah, he's in Virginia, not West Virginia.
Well, that escalated quickly.
News story coming out of Richmond, California. A California man was arrested on Monday afternoon after police said he murdered a relative and was caught by authorities eating her body.
Hey, man, it's a pandemic, man. You can't go to the store. The store closes early. There's curfews. Get hungry. Motherfuckers hungry. Motherfuckers hungry. Time to eat.
That's the ultimate munchies right there.
Yeah, act of cannibalism.
That's a human meat, motherfucker. Let's eat.
Walking Dead.
And the incident is still ongoing. They have not released the name of the man or the victim he was eating yet. So he says the state for lovers is Virginia. Well, technically you're both right, Tim says. So, and the last bit of odd news for this week is a mom takes a giant sex toy to a DIY store to get the paint that matches her lewd hot pink dildo. So she
gotta repaint it.
She wants paint in her sex store to match a hot pink dildo. So she actually took a dildo with her to the Home Depot to get the color match.
Taking a paint chip.
Did she hand it to the paint guy and said, "Can you match this?"
Oh yeah, yeah. She took a picture of it in the cart and everything.
I mean, listen, the way I see it, attention to detail is a lost art. She wanted to make sure that everything was done exactly to scale.
Nah, she didn't want it scale. She wanted color. Perfect match of her hot pink color.
I don't want two colors of pink on my dildo. God damn it.
Freshly slapped pink.
I want that to be one color of pink. Don't you fucking sell me the wrong color for my
I need the hottest pink. I need this wall to match my dildo perfectly.
Why? Did she just like the color?
Got it, I guess, yeah.
I mean, some people are coordinated to the Well, who does? I mean,
I don't know. Sometimes you just want to be color coordinated, like Corbin was just trying to get at.
Hey man, there's nothing like restoring something back to its original state.
There you go. I'm all about restoration.
You know all about that, don't you, Kyle?
I'm trying.
How is that going, by the way?
Great question.
If it's not one thing, it's another, but eventually it'll be good.
Yeah.
Story of my life, Kyle.
Have you worked out the electrical issue yet?
I'm like 90% of them.
You need to. You're supposed to say which one.
Pretty much. I did take it for a drive the other day.
Ooh.
I didn't get above 8, even though it was floored. Still drove her down the street and back. And I learned that I don't have reverse.
Wow.
And I learned a very valuable lesson in a Type 3 Volkswagen. So, when you lift an emergency brake, I didn't know that these old Volkswagens were designed to only go up about a quarter of the way. So I went all the way up with it, and it's like this bracket with these two wires that go to the back wheels, and they hook on to do the emergency brake. And then there's like this little lip thing with a thing that hits the gear that makes it go. That thing just flew off. And then when I was driving, it got stuck. So it was stuck up as I was trying to drive down the street. So
that's why you were only going 8 miles an hour?
No, that's not why I was going 8 miles an hour. But I got to drive it, so that was pretty fucking cool.
That's exciting.
It was.
A little birthday present there.
I was all excited yesterday, and I was like, she hadn't seen it started yet, and I went to go start it. And, oh, my God. I don't know if it was sucking through that last bit of shitty gas or what. She's like, shut it off! Shut it off!
Is your boy working on it with you yet?
Yeah. Hasn't even come out into the garage. The other week, I got the reverse lights working, the emergency lights going, the lights are on, brights come on, brights go off. I did a bunch. Just little things here and there. It's coming. It just takes time.
Trying to build up.
There you
I'm
go.
going to have to take it somewhere, though, I think, and there's like an air-cooled V-dub shop by my house. Since I really don't have any mechanic friends, you know what I mean? Like, but there's a air-cooled VW shop about a mile from my house. So I might just take it there and have them give me like this is what needs to be fixed. You know what I mean?
The reading on it and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, they tell me for $50, they'll tell me, you know what I mean, like what would need to be done.
That's dope. Hell yeah.
I might just keep trying to figure it out myself for a little bit though.
There you go.
Well,
70 fuel injection.
I think it's cool that you have a project that you're working on. I think that's really cool. So stick with it.
And I'm not selling any more goddamn comics.
Very admirable. But anybody got anything else you want to talk about today? Address before we go?
Yes, Tim. I don't have any mechanic friends that live close to me.
There you
If
go.
only you didn't live on the East Coast.
And where are our Caucasaurus Rex toys?
They're in the queue. He just got done printing me and Kyle lightsabers, so they're in the queue.
I've got the Kylo Ren hilt.
Oh my gosh.
It'd be badass. Dude, it looks so cool. He sent me pictures of it. And I got to put it together and paint it and everything like it's in pieces. But it's
a cool project.
Fucking awesome.
It's in the pipeline.
If only like Tim or Michael Stout just lived in Arizona, man. They would have so many cool comic books right now if they would come over and help me work on it. They would have badass comic books.
Sounds like an offer.
I mean, that's the reason why Chad got that Boba Fett book. Because when he was helping me work on it, I made it a bet with him. I was like, if you can help me get this to start today, I'll give you that book for $40. But if you can't, then you have to pay this dollar amount for it. And he was like, all right. We went to town on it, fucking around, bullshit, having a good time, and fucking we got it to start. And I was like, all right.
That's sick, though, man. That's pretty cool.
Hey, I tried to get him back. I was like, if you just come back and help me again, I'll give you the goddamn book.
Tim wants to know if his package got delivered today.
I haven't checked my mail yet.
There you go. He's not.
I'll go check it. Hey, you know what? You want to go check it right now? Give me a minute. Keep talking. I'll go check my mail real quick.
He's gonna go check his mail live on the show. But I think that's it.
Well, then I can show off the pieces.
Yeah.
Dude, the goddamn mailbox is fucking across the street.
All right, go. What the fuck are you doing waiting? What'd you come back for?
I started to cry like a little girl with skin knee.
Not quite, but
I saw your face. And you're like, I saw your butt puckered through your face.
My butt puckered through my face. All right, go. What are you waiting for, fucker? Just
all right, I'll be right back.
Stalling now, for fuck's sake.
Oh
my God. Go. Motherfucker. Jesus. Jeez. Fucking stall mode. There's an app for that.
Sounds like it's starting to storm out, gentlemen. What does that mean? That means the monsoons are here.
Yeah, I already saw you begging for frogs online.
Fucking A. So if any of you guys that live in Arizona happen to find any of those big, beautiful frogs
please
hanging
give
out
me
by
your
your
desert toads. I'm totally not using them for psychedelic purposes and totally only using them to train dogs.
What was talking about that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going out tonight after this show.
Are you?
Yep.
You're going to go searching it up, huh?
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I'm watching a video that somebody sent me of a guy going through a trash can. And at the bottom, and the reason he's doing it is because at the bottom of a trash can are a bunch of Golden Age Marvel books that are all trash that somebody threw in a fucking garbage. Big,
dude,
huge
those are probably,
dumpster.
that's probably fake.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
The dude probably planted them in there, and then he's like, let's make this video.
Hold on. Check this shit out. Watch this. This is fucking horrible.
Hypnotoads. Okay, yeah, no, that's not fake because those are all shit on.
It's got the first. It's got the first Doctor Strange in there, I think.
Yeah, that's not even bagging board. It's fucking heathen.
That's like mine after the water heater.
Heathens.
I mean, crazy shit, man.
That's sad.
Yeah, look at this.
It's like some jilted ex is like, you know what? Forget you and forget your books. You're going down.
There's a Popeye. Looks like a Popeye one behind the Castrol motor oil.
Yeah. Look at this book that he's about to fucking pull out here in a second here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Those books
Right there.
Too.
Boom. That's a tough book right there.
And those books are done.
Yeah.
Oh, that shit'll press out. That shit'll press out. 9.8s all day. Let's go. It'll buff out.
I don't know.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Just pour a little Castrol motor oil on them. Shit'll buff right out.
Oh, early Doctor Strange right there. Early Doctor Strange. Oh, it's heartbreaking.
That's got to be like a scorned girlfriend because who in their right mind would just do that?
I said that.
I know you did. I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right.
It has to be.
You're welcome.
Who else takes such prime graded books? And just does that. You know what I mean? It's not like some ignorant person would go, "Oh, let's just dump out these great old looking books."
Like I just dismissed the fact that I agree with you. Yeah, thank you.
I thought you said you're welcome. No, I was gonna say, you could have just told me you agree with me 100%. That'd been a great tagline.
I agree with you 100%.
Thank you. See, made my Friday night. Look at that.
There you go, man. That's a long walk for Kyle to go right across the street to the mailbox, huh? Fuck, to get lost? You fucking take a detour?
I'm visualizing my next time baby back at Brian's getting my books, man.
Fucking
there you go.
Detoured it or something?
Can't wait.
So
I was reading the original Marvel Zombies run, and I forgot how good it was. Like, it was gimmicky for sure, but especially when you had Robert Kirkman and Sean Phillips on it. What, number 1, number 2? I think after number 3 they stopped.
Marvel Zombies?
Yeah.
No, they did.
I know it kept going, but I think you only had Sean Phillips and Kirkman for 3.
3 series.
That's what it was. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm on series 4 now, and it's different.
Yeah.
And I know they go back to the storyline on like the Marvel Zombies Return, like the original one. But I forgot how like it was gimmicky, of course, but it was like sneaky good.
Yeah, I love that series, man. I always love that series.
Oh, look, Kyle's returned.
You ready?
Yeah.
James, what you talking about?
Oh yeah, I was just filling the time while you were gone.
The box was crushed.
Oh,
Thank you,
no.
USPS.
Oh no.
So
Corbinton wants to know if you got the mask yet.
I did not have to meet up with Kyle for it, and Kyle's holding it hostage until I do. No, I'm kidding. I'm hoping to in the next couple weeks I'll go and meet up with him and get it from him. But I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hopefully within this month, I'm trying to plan something to get up there.
all right.
Get what is right for the man.
The suspense is killing us all, Kyle.
It kind of is, yeah.
There's 3 bags in here.
Whoa.
That's freaking cool.
So, oh my god, dude, this is so fucking cool. Look at the detail on that thing.
Wow.
Wow. This is...
Yeah, this might look a little bit more.
Yeah, that's very just technically just crafted.
Good detail. Can't wait
That's dope.
I can't wait to get my sabers.
But I mean, it looks fucking cool. Holy shit!
I had him 3D print me Ahsoka's Clone Wars sabers.
Dope.
So I mean, but yeah, look at that, dude. Like, here, I'll get you the other ones.
He should totally. I think he should totally do an Etsy store for cosplayers, man. He could probably make a killing doing that.
Yeah.
3D printing stuff for cosplayers.
So. Oh, this must be the same.
Yeah, so the Ahsoka one is 2 sabers. It's a small one and a small one and a longer one.
That's what she said.
That's how she told me. Sick. Sick with it.
Here's the end of it.
Ooh, boy. Can't wait to sand and paint those bad boys.
So here's. Yeah, these ones. There's a bunch of pieces.
Yeah, it's got to be assembled.
Some assembly required.
Some assembly required.
And then here's the smaller one.
Dope.
You can tell because it's littler.
That's what she said.
So.
Awesome sauce.
And if Matt shows up at my awkward birthday party tomorrow,
Yeah.
I'll get him.
Awkward birthday party.
I love that. Okay.
Birthday parties are always awkward and fun.
Those are the best kind.
Yeah, but how many has a pinatas full of whiskey?
That's true. Just one. That's yours.
Fair.
Mhm.
Just one. All right. Well, I think that's a good place for us to end tonight. Give one last big old roaring shout out to Kyle for a happy belated birthday. Old and getting old. We're all getting old except for Corbin, our token millennial.
I'm getting, I'm getting old, but yeah.
Sick.
It's so badass.
That is pretty badass. But guys, if this is your first time finding us in on YouTube, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a comment below. Make sure to crush that bell so notifications are turned on so you know when we go live every Friday night at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you're listening to the playback on Monday, please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can download all our fresh episodes when they go out every Monday, and leave us a review as it helps us so much in the podcast standing. If you want to support the show in any way possible, the best way to do that is by buying one of our shirts. You can find them on our Absolute Geek Etsy store. You can get the shirt that Brian's wearing right now, the Comic Code t-shirt. You can get the Kyle Signature Series shirt. What a better way to celebrate Kyle's birthday than buy one of his Signature Series shirts. The No Sir, That Is an Incorrect Statement shirt. You can get the Blocked by Liefeld, and so many more shirts are available on that Etsy store. Make sure to check out some of our other podcast programming, like Tales from the Spinner Rack Sundays. Yeah, so for this week's episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast, I am Matt.
I am so fucking excited.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Corbin.
And we'll see you guys next time. And I'm Corbin.
Love this, bro.
I even got black spray paint already.